Good evening. I will call this Jefferson County Commission meeting on Thursday, December 17th, 2020 at 6 p.m. to order. Commissioner Lorenzetti, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. We have several sets of minutes to approve. We'll start with November 9th.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I think on the first two, I had to abstain on those, even though I'm listed as being there, which is fine. So I'll stay out of the vote on those.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, Madam President, I'm going to not vote on the general election canvass part 2 because I was not in attendance.
Okay, I got you. All right. So
okay. I'll make the motion to approve the general election canvass part 1 dated November 9th.
Second.
Okay, the motion is on the floor to approve minutes for November 9th, 2020, general election canvass part 1, Commissioner Lorenzetti abstaining. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries unanimously, which was a 4-commissioner vote. Minutes for November 10th, 2020.
I'll move approval of November the 10th, 2020 general election canvass minutes part 2.
I'll second that. And for the record, Commissioners Lorenzetti and Compton excusing themselves from the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 3 commissioners voted on that. All right, December 3rd, 2020, a regular meeting.
I move we approve minutes for December 3rd, 2020 regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve December 3rd, 2020 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. December 10th, 2020 special session minutes.
I'll move approval of December 10th, 2020 special session minutes.
Second.
Okay, the motion before us is approve minutes for December 10th, 2020. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving down to requisitions.
I'll move approval of requisitions dated December 17th in the amount of $53,083.02.
I'll second. Do you have any questions or discussion on requisitions? All those in favor of approving December 17th, 2020 requisitions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Accounts payable for December 10th, 2020.
I move we approve accounts payable for December 10th, 2020 in the amount of $435,137.13.
I'll
Second.
Motion before us is to approve accounts payable for December 10th. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Accounts payable for December 17th, 2020. I'll move approval of accounts payable December 17th, $49,434.78.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving accounts payable for December 17th, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to manual checks, December 11th, 2020.
I move we approve manual checks December 11th, 2020 in the amount of $140,102.48.
I'll second that. The motion before us is approve manual checks for December 11th. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Manual checks for December 18th.
I'll move to approve manual checks for December 18th in the amount of $116,973.23.
Second.
Okay, the motion before us is to approve manual checks for December 18th. Do we have any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Payroll for December 10th.
I'll move approval of payroll for December 10th in the amount of $272,611.68.
Second. The motion before us is to approve payroll for December 10th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we're moving on to presentation of resolutions, and I believe Ms. Grove has that information.
So we have two county commissioners who are retiring, I think, from county government after very long service to the county. So we have resolutions for each one of them.
Steph, you might need to speak up. I can't hear you as well.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
That's
that
better.
Okay, I'm sorry. The microphone was facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my earphones out and unplug my Bluetooth because my husband is here watching for this part. So, okay, let me see if I can get this to be loud enough.
All right. So can you hear me? Can everyone hear me okay now?
Yes.
How about
Hold on just a second, Stephanie. Let me try to get this. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Okay, now try.
Can you hear me? Testing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so we have two resolutions, one for Commissioner Lorenzetti and one for Commissioner Noland. I'll do Commissioner Lorenzetti first. Whereas we are here today to express special recognition to Ralph A. Lorenzetti and to honor him for his distinguished 35 years of service within Jefferson County local government. And whereas Ralph began his career in Jefferson County government as a part-time assistant prosecutor in 1985. In 2000, he began working full-time as an assistant prosecuting attorney. After serving in that role for almost 15 years, Ralph was elected as the Jefferson County prosecutor in 2008 and would serve 2 consecutive terms until 2016. During his tenure as prosecutor, Ralph also served on the board of the National District Attorneys Association. Whereas Ralph was interested in continuing to serve the citizens of Jefferson County and was elected to an unexpired term as Jefferson County Commissioner in 2018, representing the Harpers Ferry District. Whereas Ralph, known for both his calm demeanor and dry wit and interest in all things Jefferson County, was also a champion for the Victims Advocate Program and the Jefferson County Day Report during his tenure as both County Commissioner and prosecutor. And whereas, on behalf of the entire County Commission and staff, I want to express my sincere appreciation to Ralph for his dedication to Jefferson County, congratulate him on an outstanding career, and extend to Ralph and his family our best wishes for good health and happiness as he begins this newest chapter in his life. I'm the County Commission of Jefferson County.
I guess I should speak. I'll say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with the members of the prosecutor's office, law enforcement, the employees of Jefferson County, and it's been fun to try to work with the Jefferson County Commission, although it's been strange this year, I have to tell you, because I can't really reach out and touch anybody, but I've enjoyed it, and thank you very much.
Yeah. I think we should take a procedural, take care of some procedural issues here that we need to approve the resolution for Commissioner Lorenzetti. And
I
I will,
thought I should say that before you voted, just in case it didn't pass.
yeah, that's okay. All right. I move that we approve the resolution for Commissioner Ralph Lorenzetti as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion is before us. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
The motion carries unanimously. And I will say, it's been a pleasure working with you, Commissioner Lorenzetti, and I too was not always sure which way to take some of your witty comments, but keeps us all on our toes. And you're right, this has been a different kind of year that I don't think any of us ever foresaw. I was glad I have been able to work with you more directly than just as a prosecuting attorney. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I've worked with Ralph since I was in the magistrate's office. And, you know, so I've known Ralph throughout my entire year as an elected official. And so, you know, we go way back, and, you know, Ralph's desire to serve his community is certainly obvious in the work that he's done. And, you know, he always puts the people first. And so I wish you the best, Ralph. Good luck, good health, and happiness and have fun with those grandchildren. You know, when grandchildren enter the picture, it makes life a whole different priorities become a whole lot different. So I know you'll have a great time, and best wishes to you, Ralph, sincerely.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Patsy.
Yeah, Ralph, this is Josh. So obviously I've not known you as long as Patsy or Jane has, but I wish you well. And we may have disagreed on a number of issues, but we found common ground on a few issues. And I'll miss your spunk and input on a lot of these issues that come out. But I wish you on retirement, safe and healthy retirement. And I'm sure we'll see you around at some point again.
Thank you, Josh.
I'm sure. Any other comments?
Yeah, Ralph, just thanks for being a voice that I can listen to and learn from. And I wish you nothing but the best, man.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Okay. I do believe we have another resolution.
All right.
You're not going to make me cry, are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not. I've known both you and Ralph. Have been here since I started 15 years ago. So yeah, I'm not going to cry.
Okay. Then I won't either.
Okay. Whereas we are here today to express special recognition to Patricia Ann Noland, known to us as Patsy, and to honor her for her distinguished 35 years of service within Jefferson County government. And whereas Patsy began her career as a magistrate in 1985, serving for almost 10 years until she was elected as the Jefferson County Circuit Clerk in 1994, a title she would hold for 14 years. And whereas interested in continuing to serve the citizens of Jefferson County, Patsy began her first term as a Jefferson County Commissioner in 2009, representing the Cabletown District, and was re-elected to a second term in 2014. Whereas Patsy, known for both her quick wit and no-nonsense demeanor, was also a champion for the Jefferson County Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Jefferson County Development Authority during her 12-year tenure as County Commissioner. And whereas, on behalf of the entire commission and staff, we want to express our sincere appreciation to Patsy for her dedication to Jefferson County, congratulate her on an outstanding and distinguished career, and extend to Patsy and her family our best wishes for good health and happiness as she begins this exciting new chapter in her life. Signed, the Jefferson County Commission.
Thank you so much. That was very nice and very much appreciated.
And to make it official, I move that we approve the resolution for Commissioner Nolan.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I think your resolution, Patsy, really, Stephanie did a very good job of capturing your personality, and I've always enjoyed your no nonsense approach to many agenda items that come before us. And I did appreciate, and as well as Ralph, his extensive history of working within the county and, you know, starting out as a salaried employee and moving up to elected office. And then you helped me understand what it was like to work under the commission, which is a different type of staffing than a regular business. So I appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
Betsy, I've had fun working with you, and that young man that's with you there, I've enjoyed sitting up in the bleachers at Jefferson High or Washington High over time.
There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, I know he's had fun doing that too, Ralph. Thank you all so very much. That was very kind, and I certainly appreciate it. And it's been a real pleasure for me, and certainly has been an education. My goodness, I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't know where I could have gotten a better education about county government, and I've learned a lot, and really appreciate you all and working with you. It's been a lot of fun.
Patsy, this is Josh. I obviously have a few words. So we've been together since I was first elected for these past 4 years. And to be frank, I mean, and I really mean this, I think you have been very reasonable. I mean, we may be from different parties and have different ideologies, but I've never thought for once you haven't been reasonable. So I appreciate that. I'll miss serving alongside you. Also, you may be the only woman that has been able to fire back at me as much as my wife has. So, I miss that at the county commission also, but I genuinely, I wish you well. I wish you a very happy retirement, a very relaxing retirement, just like I spoke to Ralph. And I hope to see you around. I'm sure I will, probably at public comments in January. But,
Possible. You never know. Thank you.
or February, maybe take a few week breather before you come back. But
Yeah, probably.
yeah, I'll definitely miss serving alongside you and your input on the issues. Take care.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Josh.
And Patsy, I just want to echo what Josh said, but as well add, Jefferson County as a whole will always be indebted to your service to this county. You have been a great voice for the people, and thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. That was very nice. Thank you. Very kind. I appreciate all your comments. They truly mean a lot to me.
We got to watch out though. She may go back to this meeting and record all our comments and then bring them back to us in public comment. And that's okay. I mean,
Y'all may have to write some of those down. I don't know. That was pretty
may
nice.
turn them around on us, but we will persevere here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Now we are at the public comment. No, Stephanie, are there any changes to the agenda?
I have one change. I got a text message from the assessor that she would not be doing the exonerations this evening, and she'll get on the next agenda to do that.
Okay. All right.
So that is the only change that I have.
All right. So now do we have any public comment?
Okay. So if there are people in attendance who would like to make public comment, you can use the raise your hand icon, or you can send me a message using that function, and I will unmute you to allow you to make public comments. I also received an email today from Mr. Rockwell and Mr. Aitchison that they wanted to make public comment tonight and that they would be calling in. And sometimes when people call in, I'm not able to see them on my attendee list. I'm not sure why that is. I haven't figured it out yet. Mr. Rockwell, are you here to make public comment? Yeah, and I don't see any callers. Mr. Aitchison, are you here? All right.
Since we know they wanted to make public comment, should you, I don't know if they're even on, if they can
Yeah,
hear
I
our
know.
comments, that they could email you and maybe we can figure out what the bug is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll reach out. I don't see any other takers for public comment, but I'll reach out to them. I only have their email here, but I'll email them and ask them if they were able to come on. Usually when people call in, it does allow them to make comment, and I usually don't even have to unmute them.
Right.
But I'm not seeing them in my list here, so I'll try to figure out what is going on since they did specifically email us and say that they would be calling in to make public comment.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
I will, and I don't see anyone else who is interested in making public comment.
okay. Well, it would really be jumping ahead to go to the sheriff, but if he is online, I don't think this one is something that the public has a burning desire to know all the details. So, Sheriff, the floor is yours.
Thank you, members of the commission. Yes, we've discussed this. I think this is probably the fourth meeting
Yeah.
that we've talked about. This is coming, it's here, it's signed, and you need to formally approve to accept the $15,000 for the PRO grant from the to help support the deputy at Jefferson High School.
Yeah, I was surprised to see this myself because I thought we'd done it. So it's just another step in a multifaceted application, I guess, or grant.
I think this is your means of formally accepting the application you applied for.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I move that we accept the grant award of $15,000 to have a PRO at Jefferson High School and approve the commission president to affix her signature to the document.
Second.
Okay. The motion is before us to accept the grant. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of accepting the grant award, $15,000 for the PRO at Jefferson High School, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff. We had a icy morning, didn't we?
Yes, yesterday morning was particularly bad. It wasn't nearly as bad because not very many people on the roads this morning as compared to yesterday when it started. But the roads are a lot better. Main roads are actually in pretty good shape now. The secondary roads, most of them are in pretty good shape, but there's still a few trouble spots out there. Actually, members of the commission, I think this is the last meeting you will have. And so let me just say it's been my pleasure to work with you all in the last 8 years, and look forward to seeing you all in the future. But don't intend to get on public comment, at least in the near term. So you're safe.
All right, well.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah,
It's been good working with you.
Yeah, Pete, I've enjoyed it too. It's like Ralph, we've been working together for a long time. And so I've certainly enjoyed it. And thank you for your service to the people of the county.
yes, that's true. That's right. All three of you have been intertwined in your jobs with the county. And I thank you for your service, Sheriff, and your many years also at the VA. I know that was, they say they're all jobs, but they're more like personal missions when you do them the right way. And I do appreciate your efforts.
Definitely, Sheriff. I wish you a healthy, long retirement, Sheriff. Take care.
Thank you.
And I know your wife will want to go more, have you go with her, perhaps more trips to Florida?
Yes. I'm actually planning on getting down there and trying it out for a little while.
Okay, well, good for you.
I heard it was cool down there today, like a balmy 68.
Yes, it was in the 60s. It was, hats, gloves, parkas. It's
Right.
true, but,
Everybody's cold at 68 in Florida.
Yeah.
I know. My brother-in-law said today, it's really cool down here today. It's 68. I said, well, it's 30 here, so I don't feel sorry for you.
Okay,
again, thank you very much.
okay. Hey, my cat just bit me. She didn't like the way I moved my hand. Bad girl. She must be getting tired of being locked up with us at the house. Should we, if prosecuting attorney is on the line, we can do him, or we can go down to new business.
No, wait. Hey,
Yes.
Debbie?
hello?
Yes.
Yes, hi.
Okay.
Is Matt there? Did he want to go before me?
He is here.
Oh, okay. You can hear me?
He's muted, but I can hear you. And Matt is also here.
Okay. Well, Matt can go ahead and go first. I think he has other issues. I'm on only because of the VOCA grant contract that needs to be signed by Jane. It is just all of the agreements that the county's making for the grant that we did receive of $111,273 for the Victim Assistance Program.
Yeah.
So I gave the original copy to Sandy.
Right.
And I said I would come in the morning and pick it up. And I think she was going to arrange for Jane to sign it at some point tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go in the morning. I don't know if I'll be there right at 9 o'clock, but I'll.
Well, yeah, same here. My driveway has not been plowed yet, so it's a long driveway. So.
Yeah.
And basically, I just needed to get the approvals for the signing of the contract.
Okay. I will make the motion that we approve the VOCA grant contract.
Second.
And authorize the president to sign.
Second.
Yeah, okay, got that. I forgot that part. All right, the motion is before us to approve the VOCA grant contract and authorize the president to sign. Do we have any questions or discussion? I just know, just for the public, is it victims?
Victims of crime. Yeah.
The Victim Assistance Program.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I have known at least one individual that was assisted through that program, and they were very grateful for that. And I think this grant helps pay for a staff person to do that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The motion is before us. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and may I say it has been a pleasure, Ralph Lorenzetti, Patsy. It has been a pleasure to work with you all for so many years. I'm not far behind you in the retirement area. I'm looking forward to it. So you all look very happy and healthy. So I guess you're anticipating even better times. So
Yes,
I hope.
definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Deb.
Okay.
It's been great working
Thank
with you.
you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Stephanie, is Matt on, or we can wait and go back to some new business?
He is here. He's self-muted. I don't know if he's, Matt, are you there? Can you hear me? There he is.
Can everyone
Yes.
hear me okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, you were going to talk about annual leave accrual maximums, and I just want to make you aware too that Stephanie had an item which they may, be also apply that to discuss civil and non-civil employees' annual leave accrual maximums.
That's
So-
actually for the deputies, because I
Okay.
messed up the meeting the last, and I did put this on for Matt because the commission had made a motion in, I think, the end of June, saying that they would allow employees to carry over the maximum amount through December. And then Matt had wanted his employees to carry over. He still has several employees who are over, and he wanted them to be able to carry over. And I received a question from payroll about what to do about that. And I didn't feel like I had the ability to override the commission's decision in June. So I redacted all the names, but I do, if you wanted to see what we're like, the amounts we're talking about, I can share my screen and show you. Otherwise, I put Matt on the agenda. That's why he's on here, because I just didn't feel like I could override that decision that the commission made in June. So, Matt, you still there?
Yes, I was. Is it my turn to talk?
Yes.
I
Sorry.
could see Jane. I thought Jane was talking, and I was trying to listen to see what she was saying.
Okay.
Well, I was talking, but I was self-muted. So now I'm going to mute myself and listen to you.
Okay, yes. So basically, as Stephanie pointed out, I have some employees that are over on the county's policy for vacation time, and I wasn't sure exactly how the process would work, but here we are. I'm asking for, I guess since they're co-employees, but anyway, I would like to have their time carried over based on this unusual year that we've had with COVID. I feel that it's unfair to punish the employees in a sense that they're doing what the governor has asked of them, which is to stay home. My office has been, for exception of 2 days that I closed when we had some employees test positive for COVID, we have been open, and we've also been working from home, doing court from home, and that has worked out pretty well for us. But we've been extremely busy on a lot of fronts dealing with COVID, the procedures with that, and also trying to maintain the court system and serve it as well as coordinating. Debbie Young was on here earlier, but it has been bananas, to say the least, trying to coordinate with court schedules with victims and witnesses and things like that, because there's a lot of fluidity and changes, and they have to be made aware of. So my staff has been working extremely hard this year, and it's something that I stay on top of as far as their time off, and I think it's important that people take time off, but it just hasn't worked out this year that they've been able to enjoy these benefits. So I would seek permission to allow some of these overages, or to allow all of them. And I don't see that how it would have any financial impact on the county. This is time that they've earned, and they would just be an extended amount of time to use it. It's not going to come out of the county's pocket.
So if they left, we would have to pay out. Well, and my position is we don't pay out more than the maximum that's in the policy, no matter what. And I don't know if you share that position, but that it increases our liability if employees leave. We pay out for vacation pursuant to our policy. I don't know that any of these employees are planning on leaving, but if they do, we'd have to pay out for that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we did extend it.
That comes out of my budget, correct?
If you have it in there. It hasn't in the past. In the past, the commission has covered it.
Well, I can tell you, since I've been in office, every time an employee's left, I've waited to hire someone, and allowed enough time that their salary would run to cover any sort of payment for vacation time. That's been something that I've been operating on the understanding that it comes directly out of my budget this whole time.
Well, and I think I started to take it out of elected's budgets when I became the administrator, because we had paid in the past a lot in accrued leave. The other thing is that, so we extended it through December because it's supposed to cut off at July 1. So are you asking that it go through July 1 and then we cut it off then? Because your employees will continue to accrue leave, and you have some people that are like 150 hours or 100 hours over right now, and they'll continue to accrue their leave, just in January, through July.
I don't think that it would be in my office's best interest to have them extinguish that within the next couple months, because we're still probably in the worst shape that we've ever been with COVID and the pandemic, and it would cause a lot of hardship to try to make up those hours and they're still accruing, what they're legally gaining in that time. So it would be a lot of people out at the same time, and it would probably create some sort of hardship. So I'd like to probably, I'm flexible on how it's applied. If we could spread it out over a year, that would be optimal.
Hey, Stephanie. So,
Yes.
Stephanie, this is Josh. So I need to understand what the increase in the liability as far as the numbers are. I don't know what the numbers are. We talking about a $20,000 increase in liability of approving this, or I really don't have a baseline for this. You may not either, which is fine. But.
I don't. If you look on your screen, you can see, and I blacked out the employees' names. You're certainly entitled to see them, but I don't think the public needs to know which employees they are. And so to protect their privacy, I did black out their names. But so this first individual is a high earner. They're 134 hours over the maximum. The next one is also a high earner, 108 hours over the maximum. I can run that report, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
I mean, that's fine. Prosecutor Harvey, I mean, I know you have a new baby. I mean, you wouldn't have to be one of these over, are you? Just out of curiosity.
No, he doesn't. As an elected, he doesn't earn leave.
Yeah, I don't earn leave or sick leave elected.
I know, I'm messing with you. But but I mean, I can be agreeable to allowing it to be over. Just if they were to leave, we pay them out at the max cap. I don't think they're going to leave, like you said, just to buffer the county from financial implications. I don't see how we agree to pay them out for over the cap until we know the exact numbers.
Well, so, and let me throw something in there. Just so everyone's aware, I had a position that emptied probably 2 months ago that's been unfilled. So you've got some savings there of an unfilled staff position for the last 3 months. So that's helpful. I don't know if that doesn't really address Commissioner Compton's comment, but it's something I think is worth considering as well.
Well,
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I was just going to ask, we can't just do this for one office. We would have to do it for every office. And what kind of position does that put us in with our liability as far as
most of our other departments have used down. I know the commission departments have used down their leave because we had extended it in June, at the end of June, so that it wouldn't cut off in July. So I think we have maybe one employee who knows that they would lose leave, and we talked to that employee about that, and everyone else had used their leave down. I'm not sure about the other elected offices, but I think every other office is under the maximum. And Michelle, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, how do you get 134 hours over leave. I mean, I know it's a busy office and court scheduled and with so many different judges and things that are happening in the prosecutor's office, but you know, I would need to know what the bottom line is before I could vote to do it or not to do it.
So the overage represents, Michelle texted me, the overage,
Okay.
14,000 total for all of the employees.
Well, if I can address Commissioner Nolan's comment, the 134 that you see on that one number, and I think Stephanie and I probably agree on this, that number should come down because that person is being accrued at a rate that's under what they're supposed to be accruing. So that will adjust downward.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
And then the next one, the next person took leave. They took and I just ran the report year to year, 156 hours of leave, but there's still over, I'm sorry, that's not. I'm sorry, I'm navigating too many windows. 108 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you know, that employee is accruing at a high rate because
It's probably like because when is it Tyler or Munis or whatever this is called, everybody before we went onto this system was under. So it wasn't like this, just for your, your benefit, there wasn't like there was a lot of hours brought in that have been carrying over from year to year. These are live numbers that are fresh. It just happened to be kind of difficult in this COVID world.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is Josh again. I think the reasonable approach here, knowing that all the other elected offices are not in this position, is to agree to allow them to extend it with the understanding that we will not pay out more than the cap is allowed.
I agree with that, and that Mr. Harvey has said he has that in his budget, I believe. And so I would say take it out of his budget so it shows the true cost of what's, what's going on as we move into budget for the spring. Will you make a formal motion and we can discuss it some more, Josh?
Go ahead, Stephanie.
I just wanted to correct, I told you incorrectly, the sheriff's deputies, because they had always been allowed. So the code section, theirs is addressed by the code section, and it does say that the county commission provides that leave for the deputies. But if you recall, the last meeting, they had always been able to accrue 300 hours because they were taking 30 days. So they're allowed to accrue 30 days, and they were taking 30 days times 10-hour days, even though they only work a 40-hour week. So they are over because it's my position that it's 240, not 300. And you did approve that at the last meeting for them to accrue over. So there is another elected office. And today we will be considering, you did that for the civil service deputies, but there are also some non-civil service employees in that same boat that are over, and also in the sheriff's department. So those are the two offices that are over. So I told you wrong that all the others were under. The county commission's departments, they're under. And I know that at least one employee on that list is planning on taking leave here in before the end of the year, but I don't think it will get that employee under the maximum. But there is another office. I just wanted to correct what I said. There is another elected office that's over.
But Stephanie, did we agree not to pay more than that cap?
Well, we didn't, because there's a dispute over what the cap is.
Okay.
For the deputies when it's in the code section, because they have always traditionally interpreted that as 300 hours. And before Tyler, we weren't able to see it. And now that we can see it, we thought it should be 240, but it was such a late notice for them because theirs cuts off at a different time. So our county employees, theirs cuts off in July. But the sheriff's deputies, pursuant to the code section, they cut off on December 31st. So you allow them to carry it through, to the next year, and then they would have to be down to the statutory 240.
Okay, so
so
I'll
for
try-
them, they
Go
think
ahead.
they're allowed to carry 300. I think they're allowed to carry 240. So we gave them like a year's grace period.
Okay, I look at this as a total different scenario thing going on, knowing that all the other elected offices except the police issues. So I'm going to move, we approve, and I'll try this. We approve extending the county prosecutor's staff overages and vacation time with the understanding that the county will not be paying out over the allowed cap as in policy.
Second,
What about an amendment to the main motion that the additional funding for that comes out of the prosecuting attorney's office
I'll accept that amendment.
budget? Okay.
okay, sounds good.
Any more discussion or questions? I don't know if I can repeat the motion exactly. Mr. Compton, you want to take a stab at it to repeat it?
Yeah, I move we approve allowing the county prosecutor's office employees to accumulate more than the allowed amount of vacation time, but with the understanding the county will not be paying over the cap and it will come from the county prosecutor's budget.
All right.
And did you want to put an end date on that?
Yes, please.
The fiscal year,
So that's July 1.
is that fine, Mr. Harvey?
It would be easier for me to accommodate people's schedules if I could spread it out to December 31st, 2021.
So I'll amend that to reflect an end date of December 31st, 2021.
Okay. As my cat has arrived again. But everybody understand the motion?
I'm not repeating it.
That's good. I don't want to have to repeat it either. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Well, yeah, I will just add, this COVID situation has brought challenges on many different levels, and, hard to go on vacation when you're not supposed to travel. But you can take time off and work at home, which I know many people have done.
Well, I'm very appreciative and my employees are very appreciative. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for explaining the situation till I really understood it. All right. Does that conclude all of the business there? How are we doing on time? Stephanie, do you want to finish with the other part underneath your county administrator report about the other employees' annual leave accrual?
Sure. So this is actually, I messed up at the last meeting and I gave you a date that makes it look like the deputies can carry 300 for 2 more years, when really it should cut off at the end, so they can carry over 300 through December 31st of this year, but then December 31st of next year, they would have to be at the 240 cutoff, which is provided in the statute. And then it also came to my attention that there are some non-civil service deputies who have been included in that 300 carryover the whole time that they've been here. And the motion only addressed the civil service. And so I know. And
This is complicated.
I know. And I apologize. So this has been, I'm just trying to, with the Tyler system, we're able to see now.
Yeah.
And that's true for county commission departments too, not just the electeds. It's true for county commission departments too. We're able to see what people are accruing. And if you remember in years past, we had paid out a lot of accrued time when people left or retired. So it's been kind of my mission to bring us kind of into compliance and have a uniform policy throughout the county. It's hard to do that because the statute provides something differently for deputies than it does for the rest of the county employees. So what they're asking you to do, I need you to amend the motion that you made or reconsider the motion that you made the last time because I gave you the wrong date. And Michelle tried to tell me that, and I argued with her and said she was wrong. And then when I thought about it, I realized she was right. So I should just listen to her when she tells me I'm wrong, because she's usually right. And then also, if you wanted to include, I think there's only one non-civil service deputy in that list that has always, been through previous sheriffs, and even through this current sheriff, has been able to carry over that 300 versus 240. So maybe I should just tell you what I need.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you need?
What I need is a motion to reconsider to say that the deputies would be able to carry over 300 hours on December 31st, 2020. And then on December, well, let's just do 300 hours through December 31st, 2020. And then must be in compliance with the 240 hours on December 31st, 2021. So you'd have to reconsider your previous motion because it's a change. The dates are changing because I gave you the wrong date at the last meeting. And I apologize for that. That was my mistake. And then if you wanted to include the non-civil service person in that, you would also say to include both civil service and non-civilian, non-civil service law enforcement.
I'll take a stab at it. We may have to amend it a couple of times, but let's see what happens here. I move that the commission reconsider the motion made at the last meeting, and that I move to approve a carryover of 300 hours through December 31st, 2020 for deputies. Okay, that's the first part.
Yes, so yeah, just do that.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Have any more questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay.
And so you need the same thing for the civil service and non-civil service deputies?
So I only need it for the non-civil service deputies, where there's only one. And so that deputy is uniformed, but he's not really a deputy because you have to go through the academy.
Okay.
The process server, don't think he has arrest powers because I don't think he can. So if you wanted to extend it to that one other individual, you would have to vote to do that, because this is just for this code section applies only to deputies who are covered by the civil service, and all deputies have to be covered by the civil service if they're working in a county of our size. So this is a uniformed officer who does service of process and some other things, but it does not have arrest powers because not under the code section.
Okay, that makes sense then. I didn't understand the difference between civil service and non-civil service. Yeah. So,
we have one uniformed officer who isn't.
That's service of process.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, well, I'll make the same motion that we permit the non-civil service deputy to carry over 300 hours only through December 31st of 2020. Should it be 2021 or 2020?
It's 2020. So
okay, that's what we did last time. We made it. Okay, so through 2020 then.
Because we were going to cut them off this December, and there were deputies who have been here for years who said, well, it's always been 300. Yeah. And I said, that's not how I interpret the code section. Or
did Commissioner Compton second that motion or somebody?
I seconded it, Jane, yes.
Okay, all right. So the motion before us is to approve carryover for a non-civil employee of the Sheriff's Department, deputy of 300 hours to the December 31st, 2020. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Now, any other issues with annual leave and carryover?
No.
Okay.
And I hope that it,
We hope that's it, So
I hope
that,
the vaccine makes a difference and we can kind of all get back to normal.
okay. We're just about here on time. I'm going back to agenda item number 4. County clerk, we're a few minutes early. She may not be online. Stephanie, you're muted, I think.
She is, she signed on a different way. So I've unmuted her. Jackie, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, good. Good evening, commissioners and Stephanie. Hope everybody is doing well, and I would like to offer my well wishes to Patsy and Ralph on your retirement. I'm coming before you because I'm seeking approval to advertise to fill a vacant position that's been vacant since July 1st of 2020. And since we submitted this agenda request, I have also received a resignation from another assistant clerk. So I'm actually going to want to advertise for 2 positions, and it's within the same office, the recording office. These are not new positions. They are positions that I have, and I do have the budget for it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just had one question that occurred to me. We got a lot of feedback. Is anyone working overtime? I'm not talking about elections, but now that I guess most of that's done, do we have anyone working overtime?
I do not have any overtime budgeted, so everybody's working on comp time if they do any overtime.
Okay. Now, and so you have some people working on comp time?
Right now, I don't know if anybody is working on comp time. It was mainly during the election season.
Okay, thanks.
This is Josh. I don't know why we have an echo over here, but
I don't know either.
I can't hear you, Stephanie.
When I mute the phone, when I mute Jackie's phone, it goes away. So I'm just muting her while county commissioners are talking, and then I will unmute her so she can respond.
Okay. Okay. Just quick thing. So, I mean, I voted against these allowing positions to be advertised, et cetera, because I thought we were on a hiring freeze, but I guess that's not the case anymore because they've been approved. So here's the thing. We have an elected official, the county clerk, asking us to advertise and fill positions in elected office. So based upon what has happened in the past few meetings, I don't see how we deny her as the elected official when we're approving the JCDA and other entities for hiring and advertising.
So this is Patsy, and Jackie, you did say that the money for both of these hires is in your budget already?
Okay, Jackie,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, that's okay. I do have it in my budget.
Okay.
And I can just confirm that the one position has been vacant for the last 6 months. It was vacated when an employee retired July the 1st. So part of that position salary is available because part of it was actually distributed to other employees. And then the new position that's becoming vacant, I would recommend that that one be held vacant for 3 to 6 months to be in compliance with our current deferrals that we have in place. But I do recommend that at least the one position be granted to be filled.
I disagree. This is within my budget, and the only reason I held that one position for 6 months was due to open enrollment and health insurance changes, if you all recall.
My one question is, I know you had someone retire in July 1, and then you saved like half of that salary, and then you distributed more, the rest of it, it sounds like, to other employees. So if you hire 2 new people and we give you the same amount you had this year for your next fiscal year, will you be able to, you won't need an increase in your budget to fund those 2 positions full-time for the whole year of 2021 through 2022?
I did not redistribute salaries to other employees. During the budget session last year, you all gave me money.
Okay.
I had it within my budget to
Okay, well,
give.
I misunderstood what you said. I mean, I don't, I just want to understand. So, okay.
When Gail retired, Nikki was promoted to that position, and she was given an increase because she took on the promotion. Additionally, she had 2 or 3 other employees who were given between 5 and 10% increases.
Okay.
But this is Josh. So, I mean, we've been going back and forth for the clerk's office for quite a number of months here. And I don't know why that is, but I mean, I'm going to throw this out there. I move we approve both positions and allow the clerk to advertise both positions.
Second.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions or discussion? All those in favor allowing the county clerk to advertise for 2 positions or open assistant clerk positions, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Shadle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just a little difficult to understand sometimes, so I appreciate your explanation.
You're welcome.
All right.
And we do have Laura online.
Ms. Storm?
Laura? Oh, there she is.
Oh my. She's ready for us.
Very festive outfit you have there.
Yes.
Hey, I'm trying. In these trying times, you got to do whatever you can do. I've lost my direct TV for the night, so I'm going to be doing all my Christmas wrapping. So I'm getting my mood on here. But I appreciate your time tonight. I'm here. I wish I'd have gone before Jackie so I could have explained why she has an extra opening. Is one of them is my fault. Patsy, I'm going to blame you. You have trained me over the years to become the circuit clerk. You gave me many skills. Well, now you have done the same for Shayna. She is going to be our next magistrate court clerk. So we've had, you've left a legacy, I'll put it that way, and I thank you very much. But she has been my right hand, my left hand, and she trained me. It's very hard shoes to fill. She's only going across the street, but I do want to cry like a baby over it. But we're going to keep that knowledge in the county, which is wonderful. But I do need to fill her position. Our criminal department is so incredibly busy, unfortunately. We have a staff of 3 in there, and they are busy constantly. So I had 3 years ago interviewed Deanna Davis, who was in Ms. Shadle's office, and for the position I was hiring for, she was not the right fit. For this position, she is the perfect fit. She comes with almost 20 years experience in a law office, and putting her in my criminal division would help tremendously. She knows my e-file system. She knows all the legal terminology, which I know Patsy can back me up, that's one of the hardest parts of the job, is understanding what it is you're hearing, seeing, and looking at. And actually, Ms. Grove too understands that, and Ralph in the legal field. That's where our hurdles are at. So Jackie is aware. Deanna has accepted a position within my office. It's basically just a move across the aisle, if you will. She's going to bring with her everything from the county clerk's office. I will honor her start time with the county clerk's office. I will allow her to bring her any accrued time with her. But within my office in the criminal division, I have always, since the beginning of when I've been a clerk, they are compensated a little higher rate. So I am going to pay her $37,000 per year with all the benefits afforded everybody. Again, that's what she's bringing with her from the county clerk's office. She will be effectively working for me on January the 4th of 2021. Shayna's last day is January 1st. And this will help with continuity and flow within my office to be able to bring her in right as soon as Shayna leaves. She comes with so much experience and knowledge. I cannot say no to this woman who has the perfect skill set for my office. So I need no money from the county commission. You're actually going to make money off of this transaction, but she's going to move over into my office, I think in a very seamless manner. So I am coming before you to let you know this is going to happen and to ask for your approval for this to happen.
Well, Shayna has, she's going to have big shoes to fill. Shayna's been there for what, about 26 years? 27. She was there when I first became circuit clerk, and she had been there. She came to the circuit clerk's office from the School to Work program, and she's been there ever since. And she does an incredible job. And so you're really going to miss her, but I'm really happy for her that she was able to move on. And, so good for her. So, and you have the money in your budget. I know you do, because you're losing Shayna and you're gaining a newer employee new to your office. So I'll move that we approve the transfer of Deanna Davis from the county clerk's office to the circuit clerk office at a salary of $37,000 with all the benefits and accrued time transferring with her to be effective January 4th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, but this is a happy occurrence. I'm sure the county clerk is not happy to lose an employee, but it sounds like this is a good move for Miss Davis and for the circuit clerk's office. So
Absolutely. And I've already promised.
That's amazing that we can keep, that we have an employee that's interested in moving on, moving up, and not losing them. So someone with that kind of knowledge. So the motion is before us to approve the transfer of Deanna Davis from the county clerk's office to the circuit clerk's office, salary of $37,000 with all benefits and accrued time, transferring with her effective January 4th, 2021. Is everyone ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you for wearing your very colorful and joyous,
Festive.
festive outfit. And have fun wrapping.
Oh, thank you so much. And Commissioner Lorenzetti and Commissioner Nolan, it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure to have worked with you for 20 years. You will be missed. You will be missed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.
Yeah,
You too.
thank you. Yeah. Okay. I don't know who's going to be presenting for the broadband. Oh,
Mr. Cahill.
Cohill? Okay.
Good evening.
Cohill, we're running a little ahead of time, but I don't think it's going to hurt for you to go ahead and start, and maybe we'll all get done sooner.
Mr. Cahill, do you need to share your screen at all for your presentation? I can make you the presenter if you have anything you want to share.
I do have a presentation, and if you let me do that, I'll share that. Might go a little more quickly that way.
Okay. All right, you should have that ability now. And there's like a little screen icon. Yep.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time here, and I know some of you have been heavily involved with this, and I'm glad to take a little time to go over our work. It was really a great experience for us. There was a large group of very engaged people on the broadband task force, and we really enjoyed working with them. Part of our work was to do a business and residential survey, and we've done about 30 of these in the past 4 years. This was probably the second highest response rate we got on a county level. Some of you may know that this was mailed out to all residents, and typically for something like this, a 3% response rate is considered good. Fully 12% of the households in the county responded. We also got a very good response to the business survey in a county the size of Jefferson. We would have expected 50 to 60 businesses to respond. 89% of respondents wanted a better internet service. Nearly half are dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with their current service. In red right here, 55% said the availability of internet is affecting where they choose to live. This is the highest number we've seen in any county. It's high in most places, typically runs between 25 and 35%. So the availability of internet really is changing where people choose to live, and of course that affects community and economic development as well. 97% of respondents thought the local government should help facilitate better internet, and 63% said they have trouble using common internet services. We got very similar comments from businesses. There was an enormous number of written comments when people filled out the online survey. They had the ability to add their own thoughts, and we didn't put any limit on the length of a response. Many people wrote 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, half a page. We had some that ran a full page, really describing just in some cases heartbreaking difficulties they're having with internet. So it's clearly a real issue in the county. We mapped the survey results, and these are all in our report. The distribution, as you can see, each of the dots on the maps indicate a response from within the county. On the left, we have the reported speed of internet service. Green is considered by the FCC to be adequate, and you can see there's a lot of orange and yellow in there. Satisfaction with their services on the right. There's a number of people that reported green, but you can see there's a lot of red, mostly out in the rural areas. So in the larger communities in Jefferson County where cable internet is available, people are generally satisfied with what they have. Although we got we observed a lot of comments about poor customer service from the cable provider. We often hear, well, there's not a lot of money for broadband, and we always like to do this little math exercise where we try to project over the next 30 years, what are people going to spend on various telecom services. And in Jefferson County, it's potentially as much as $1.5 billion. And the problem here is that every month, public and private entities in the county, residents and businesses are writing checks for various telecom services, including internet. Most of that gets mailed out of the county and out of the state. And so actually, if you can just redirect about 5% of this expenditure, you'd have the money to build a high performance fiber connection to every home and business in the county. So our findings, just as a quick overview, there's many residents and businesses lack good broadband. The COVID-19 crisis particularly, and again, if you go through the comments, people are very frustrated. Maybe they were less frustrated before they had to work from home or children had to attend school virtually, but it's become a real crisis in the county and really in virtually any rural area of the country right now. Fixed point wireless is going to be very important in terms of a short term, say the next 2 to 3 years, in improving access. We're not recommending that the county go into the internet business and compete with the private sector. We think the county's role is making some carefully targeted investments in basic infrastructure that would allow private sector internet service providers and wireless providers to expand their service and make it available to more homes and businesses in the county. And that leads into trying to develop some public-private partnerships. The good news is that there's grant money available. I know there was some frustration at the way the CARES money had to be spent for broadband had to be expended by the end of the year. There does appear to be, if Congress can make up their minds, and I know that's a tall order, but there does appear to be going to be a second round of CARES-like money in 2021, and we have no idea what the rules are going to be, but my guess is there may be as much as a full year to tap COVID-related broadband funds and use those very productively to expand access.
Mr. Cohill,
Yes.
This is Jane Tabb. I have a question. Of course, I don't know any of the technical stuff. So what is a fixed point wireless broadband?
That is a resident or business who is receiving internet service wirelessly from a tower in the county.
Okay, thank you.
So the tower is both the tower and the customer are fixed. Cellular service is mobile, wireless, because people can drive around and continue to have a connection while they're driving or walking. With fixed point wireless, there's an antenna on your home or on your business that's pointed to this tower, and it has to stay pointed all the time. So the antenna has to be at a fixed point. Does that help?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kogan, this is Commissioner Compton. I have one quick thing too. So one of those bullet points is county roles should be limited to providing basic infrastructure for private sector providers. So I brought this up a few months ago. I know West Virginia DOT has significant road projects in the county coming up, 340 South, etc. I mean, if we as a county could coordinate with DOT and maybe when they're ripping up the roads in the right of way, lay conduit in anticipation of the big guys coming in, they can just run their fiber lines in the existing conduit. The most expensive part of this is ripping up the right of ways. So I think that's a good place where the county can look to join DOT in anticipation for growth of internet service.
Yes, and so buried conduit is part of what we would call basic infrastructure. And we're actually working with several communities that have been doing that incrementally for several years and have been very successful. And you can lease that out. The service providers will actually pay a modest fee to get access to that conduit, so you can actually recover the cost of putting that conduit in, and eventually using some of those funds to continue expanding that. So it's an excellent example of what can be done with relatively small amounts of money.
Yeah, and I know Hillsborough, that is having that big road project, is doing that also. I mean, I'll certainly bring this up in January at the county commission, but that's one opportunity that I think can definitely help the county residents.
Absolutely. So some of the suggestions, again, conduit would be terrific. In the rural areas of the county, again, putting for wireless internet service providers, their biggest cost is putting up towers and getting access on those towers. So we've worked over the last several years with communities in several states, or local governments in several states, that are putting up towers and then leasing out space on those towers to attract WISPs. And this would certainly, if there's more CARES money, towers can be put up relatively quickly, and you can get WISPs on those towers quickly. And so we think that's a good way to do it. Some of the other short-term strategies we've seen are putting Wi-Fi hotspots on school buildings, so people don't have to drive to the library or to a McDonald's. They can go to a local school and at least get better access without driving so far. So there's a number of ways to do this, and we go into a lot more detail in the report. As part of our study, we looked at what would it take to get a high level of good, high performance wireless internet access throughout the county. We found that with 7 towers, you could cover almost 90% of the county with service for about $1.3 million. This is well within the range of what's going to be available in a number of federal grant programs over the next 12 to 18 months. So this is a very doable initiative. And we did look at existing towers. That green triangle in the middle is an existing county tower that can be upgraded to support some internet access. This is what that propagation coverage looks like. The dark purple are individual address dots, and so you can see that we've captured nearly all of the, again, about 90% of the homes in the county. And so in terms of wireless, you have a network of towers. You have connections between the towers to carry the internet service. And then from a tower to a building, there might be a small pole or an attachment to the building. So this is here's the fixed point here. It's the building is a fixed point, and you can also extend coverage with shorter 60-foot utility poles, and that can be redistributed to some nearby homes. So there's a number of wireless solutions. The WISPs are all familiar with these, and one of the next steps we recommend is sharing a report with some of the WISPs that are already in the county and getting some of their feedback on what they think would be most helpful. They often have some good insight on where the need is and where the most demand is. We also did some fiber studies just to show what this looks like. It's not as expensive in many cases as people think, and you can do small fiber studies. So we did 3 of these. This is we picked a residential area, Tuscaloosa Hills, and looked at how much fiber is required and what the cost would be. We also looked at Knott Road and the surrounding areas, a little more of a rural area. This was about 7 miles of fiber and passes about 174 homes. And then we also looked at Shenandoah Junction. It's another more modest neighborhood, is about 2 miles and actually passes about 273 homes. So for a relatively modest amount of infrastructure, you could potentially connect a lot of homes with very high performance fiber. Just as an example of the cost, here's the Knott Road cost summary. Is less than $1 million. Fiber is definitely more expensive than wireless, but it's also a much better service. Fiber you create a 40-year plus asset with fiber, and towers are also generally good for 30 to 40 years if they're well maintained. So these are long-term assets that can substantially improve internet throughout the county. And again, we're not contemplating that the county would manage a fiber network. You would install conduit and potentially fiber, and then just lease out the use of that to an internet service provider. They would handle all of the technical details, manage all of their own equipment, and simply pay the county a monthly or quarterly lease fee for the use of that infrastructure. So in attracting WISPs, it's important to keep the fees affordable for the WISPs. We've got a lot of information in the report about what WISPs are going to look for. In particular, for towers, as an example, it takes a while for a wireless internet service provider to build up customers around a new tower. And so we generally recommend offering at least a 3 to 6 month grace period on lease fees to allow them to sign up customers and begin generating revenue before they have to pay for those lease fees. This is my last slide, just to sum up. I know you have a lot of other work to do, so I'm trying to be efficient with my time, but I'm happy to take questions. Again, we're not recommending that you be in the internet business. We think it's the county's role should be to help the private sector internet service providers expand service. Fiber is going to be very important. You don't necessarily need fiber to every home in the county, but it really is becoming more of an economic development need. People, as I noted, people are concerned about where they live now. The COVID, if there's something that has come out of the COVID that might be useful, it's that more people are realizing they don't need to live in a big city, that they can work from home. There's many corporations that are now saying they're going to allow a much larger percentage of their employees to work from home permanently. And so we're going to see more people looking for some of the great quality of life that's available in Jefferson County. And fiber to the home is going to be a really important draw. Conversely, we've had many conversations with real estate agents over the past several years who tell us it's becoming more and more difficult to sell homes in areas where internet access is poor, and it's affecting property values and affecting the ability of people to sell their homes. The big opportunity in the next 3 to 6 months, I think, is going to be to continue having the task force follow up, particularly with looking at grant opportunities. There's going to be a lot of competition for grants, and so it's going to be important to identify who's going to take the lead on putting together grant applications and working with service providers on this. And that's, I'm going to stop here, and I'm happy to take questions. And I know you have other things to do, but we're certainly available for follow-up later.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cohill. I haven't, of course, been on the committee, and this is very interesting. I think you've, the committee and you together have done an excellent job. I'm looking forward to explore how we can move forward, what steps the county can take itself to move some of this project forward. I have a friend that was has a beautiful custom-built log home, indoor horse arena, outdoor horse arena, horse barn, just beautifully maintained pastures. Had a family there looking at it. She's selling it. They are ready to sign. And then they asked about the internet. And they walked away, which is, you know, crying shame for her. So, yeah, we've got a lot of challenges to work on.
Well, and I think it's also important to note for the public that I know that Sandy McDonald has been on this committee as well. And I know she's already been getting phone calls from the public just asking, you know, when is this, how soon can we expect this to happen? This is just a very first step in that's going to take a while to complete, and I hope it won't take as long as it has in the past. And I want to thank Andrew for his leadership, and Bill Clark too. Bill was a big Bill's been a big help in helping us all understand more about this than I ever thought I needed to know. But it certainly has been interesting, and but the public needs to understand too that this is not going to be something that's going to happen in the next month or the next maybe 2 or 3 months. We hope it will happen quickly, but you just have to be patient because this is a process.
Well, Patsy, Bill is retiring, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
You're retiring, I'm retiring. One of my concerns is we're dropping all this on our county administrator and our large IT staff, and I'm wondering if Mr. Cohill has some idea how a county with a small staff can push this through.
The grant applications vary in complexity. And I think that's as I said a little earlier, there's going to be some short-term opportunities. I'm very hopeful that particularly for Jefferson County, if there's additional CARES broadband funds
Yeah.
that are administered at the state level, those are going to be very accessible. We just worked with a county in Virginia on getting some CARES money, and it was a very simple 5-page application. Did not require a lot of legwork to get it approved, and in fact, the county was able to send it to the state, the Commonwealth in a governor's office in Virginia, and get it approved and turned around in about 5 days.
Wow.
So it will be important to have somebody ready to take the lead, but it was not an onerous process in any shape or form. There are some very substantial federal grant funds available, like Reconnect, that do take a lot more time and planning. But for example, you could, if you said, well, we want to add all 6 of these new towers recommended, you'd be looking at actually a very small Reconnect request that would be very likely to get funded. We have found some K-12 school systems often have a grant writer on staff, and the K-12 schools have also been struggling with poor broadband because of the virtual learning. And it might be good to have a conversation with the Jefferson County K-12 schools to see if they would like to participate and lend some help with that. The service providers will also be, I'm sure there'll be at least 1 or 2. We've worked with a number of other counties in West Virginia where the service providers were very willing to assist with grant application preparation. So I think there's some resources out there, but somebody does have to kind of own and herd the cats to be successful.
Something else for Michelle and Russ to do. I think it is a project that we need to do, but I'm afraid it's going to come to somebody else on our staff doing it.
Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I was self-muted and didn't realize it. I do think it's interesting that you talked about some towers that you have Shepherdstown Middle School listed. They are going to build a new Shepherdstown Middle School. And I know the school bond passed for that, and probably, I don't know if they have a tower included in that budget or not, or if there's some way we could work with them to get a grant to make it happen. But at least that would be one place to start. To me, that's obvious, but I'm sure other people have some ideas too. And you're right, Ralph, some of us are going to have to keep on pushing it, and it might, it's going to be a burden on the current staff. So
the new school is an interesting idea. We have seen some localities roll things like a tower into a larger bond issue. If I don't know what the cost of the school is likely to be, but we see price tags of anywhere between $30 and $60 million for a new school. So if you were going to place a $150,000 tower on or near school property, well, it'd have to be on school property. It's really almost inconsequential in terms of the effect on the bond amount. And so that's another interesting approach.
Yeah, well, generally, it does. That has to be named in the bond call, and the bond has already been approved, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So we'll have to do some creative thinking to see if we can make that work.
I think the bond call just says construction of a new high school. So and I'm not a obviously bond counsel, that's a very specialized area of law, but I do think that putting a tower there, if it's going to serve the school, could be considered. So they don't enumerate exactly what the school's going to look like. They just say like new high school or new middle school. So I think they could roll it into, we're constructing a new school and we're putting a tower here that will serve our school, but also other facilities. probably want to check with our bond counsel on that because I'm not, that's a very specialized area of law, but I think it wasn't so specific that it details exactly what the school is going to look like.
Well, something to pursue.
Yeah, just quick, this is Commissioner Compton. Mr. Cohill, I thought it was a good presentation here. Straight to the point, I appreciate it. Just one thing to note with the whole COVID changing the corporate environment as far as employees, I think Jefferson County is strategically located to a major metropolis area to see some of those people move out of the areas here. The ideal thing would be a larger influx of population, and the larger companies would just follow that population and thereby build it out themselves. I mean, we're rural, but we're not as rural as we used to be. So I think, I mean, we could see a larger influx from the DC metro areas, especially as taxes get higher in Virginia and Maryland. I mean, you can't even open your restaurant in Maryland or Virginia right now, I think. So I mean, we have a lot of competitive advantages to Jefferson County that may help us in a few years to come.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Thanks again, Andrew.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you
all
very
your
much
help.
for your time. Call us anytime if you have questions. Please don't hesitate to pick up the phone or drop us an email.
Yes. Thank you very much. I enjoyed the presentation.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You too. All right.
And we do have Michelle online here.
Okay. All right.
Bill, do you need to share your screen?
I don't have them pulled up.
Okay, that's fine. It's in the
I
packet.
could pull it up.
Yeah, it's in the
It's in the
packet.
packet.
Yeah.
Everything's in the packet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so the first thing that I wanted to do would be to get some of the small things taken care of, and then we'll kind of go over the big stuff. The first thing would be review and approval of fiscal year 21 state budget revision number 2 for the general fund.
Okay.
I will come back to you in January with a budget revision for the COVID expenditures and the COVID revenue. I haven't done that one yet. I wanted to make sure we got through the end of the calendar year first. So this budget revision has several different components included in it. The first portion of it would be to record an adjustment for the fiscal year 20 ending fund balance so that it agrees with our fiscal year 21 beginning budgeted fund balance. The increase is $533,021, and that is usually done by making an increase to our unencumbered fund balance for our budget, and then transfers to our capital outlay fund. We're increasing that by $533,000. The second portion of that would be to record an adjustment for open purchase orders that were still not closed at the end of fiscal year 20. Every year at the end of the year, we still have a few of those that are still open. So there's about $101,000 that needs redistributed from fund balance to other buildings, IT, law enforcement, and 911 for purchase orders that they had outstanding at the end of the fiscal year. It's a little higher this fiscal year than it is in prior years, primarily because of COVID. Some of these are just the work was completed in the prior fiscal year. They just never sent us the invoice. So we just need to make sure that their budget is made whole for fiscal year 21 and that they don't go over budget as a result of paying it this current fiscal year.
Okay, I gotcha.
The third portion of that would be to, as a result of 2 changes that were made in law enforcement. One, for 2 positions, law enforcement wages and benefits need to increase for the amended Bolivar contract and for the BCI for the 2 deputies that will be funded by other sources. BCI, that's part of the task force. Those were approved by the commission on November the 5th, and that's the budget revision that will increase his wages and benefits for those line items. The fourth portion of that would be Parks and Rec. We did approve on November the 5th an increase of $160,000 for a one-time stopgap funding to help them through the COVID closures. And then the other portion of that would be the $25,000. The $160,000 has already been distributed. Now the $25,000, I won't distribute that unless they actually can show to us that it hasn't been approved by by the grant. But I wanted to go ahead and get the budget revision done. I just won't distribute it if it doesn't, if they, if they do get funding from the grant. The fifth portion would be to increase law enforcement wages and benefits to pay for an adjustment on one employee, and that was for Emma Brown. The commission approved on September 3rd to change her hours from 70 hours biweekly to 80 hours biweekly, and that's the increase that he needs. That's coming out of the commission's line item. I typically include each year an amount in the commission's line item for things like this, for departments who need a 4% increase instead of a 2% increase. So I still have funding available for other departments. And each year it's a different department that asks for that funding, and that's what that distribution is for and where it's coming from. Any questions about any of those budget revisions?
Nope. Patsy, you're muted, I think.
Yeah, I was. I move that we approve state budget revision number 2 as outlined by our financial director.
Second.
All right. Do we have any questions or discussion for Michelle, or was the motion? All those in favor of approving fiscal year 2020 state budget revision number 2 for the general county fund, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right.
Okay, and then the second thing I'd like to do is I would like to go over the financial statements as of November the 30th before we get into discussions regarding the other 2 items. So it's the 4th item on your list. It should be in your packet there. So the first page of that handout includes expenditures by department as of November the 30th of 2020. As of November the 30th, we are 5 months through the current fiscal year, so we would expect to see the percent received or percent expended for the current fiscal year at around 41 or 42%. So the items that's typically what I look at to try to figure, tell you what items are performing well or performing bad. The first item that we'll go over would be our ad valorem taxes. You can see that at the end of November, in fiscal year 21, we received 8.9 million in ad valorem taxes, and that compares to 8.5 million at the same time last fiscal year. It's about a $351,000 increase, and that's pretty normal that we increase between $300,000 and $500,000 each year for ad valorem taxes. It's also pretty normal that it's at 59% instead of 41% because the majority of the revenue is collected at the beginning of the year, and then we also have the second half that'll be collected in the second part of the year. Federal grants, you can see that we've received 1.65 million so far in fiscal year 21 for federal grants. That's made up of primarily of the CARES Act revenue that we've received for COVID-19 related expenditures.
Okay.
For fiscal year 19, we did receive 8 million in CARES Act funding. Fiscal year 20. In fiscal year 21, we've received 1.8 million. I'm sorry, we've been approved for 1.8 million in CARES Act funding. We haven't received all of that yet. And I've submitted expenditure requests for 2.4 million in CARES Act funding. I still have December to submit expenditures for, and I anticipate that will be another 500 to 600,000 that I'll submit for reimbursement for. So I think by the end of December, we'll have about 5.7 million in CARES Act funding revenue that we'll have received for the calendar year of 2020. Franchise agreements is at 0 right now, and that has to do with the timing. That's an amount that we receive on a quarterly basis. And when we receive it in the first quarter of the fiscal year, it's for the prior fiscal year. So we haven't received the first quarters yet, or we hadn't as of November the 30th. I think we actually received it in the beginning of December, so it's kind of on track where it needs to be. Horse and dog racing, that 34,670, that's a pretty big increase over prior years and over our budget. Our budget was only 6,500, and we actually decreased that down from 10 or 11,000 because historically that's all we normally receive. So that's trending much higher than we have, expected in prior years. It's still not a big number, but it's better than what it normally is. Hotel occupancy tax is at 25%. We received 212,000 so far in fiscal year 21 compared to 396,000 the prior fiscal year. So that's a decrease of about 46%. That money is 100% dedicated to other revenue sources. I'm sorry, to other dedicated to other expenditures. So it's 100% dedicated to CVB, Parks and Rec, Arts and Humanities, and the Historic Landmarks Commission. So even though that funding is down, it's not really impacting us, it's impacting other organizations. Our property transfer tax, we've received 533,000 so far in the current fiscal year. That is trending about 160,000 better than it was at the same time last fiscal year. That's also a pretty seasonal revenue. Most of the transfers happen in the summer months because people try to do that around when schools are closed. So I expect that to kind of go down a little bit or get back to a normal number over the next few months, and then it may increase a little bit in the spring. Our budget is $1 million right now, and I think we're on track for hitting that number. Our wine and liquor tax was the wild card that we received last fiscal year and kind of saved us a little bit. It's at 159,000 received for the current fiscal year compared to 123,000 the prior fiscal year. So that's still trending about 30% higher than it had been in the prior fiscal year. Total revenues for the end of November are 14.5 million, and that's an increase of 1.6 million over the prior fiscal year's 12.9 million. It's all due to the CARES Act revenue that we've received. I'll go over table games revenue and video lottery revenue here in a minute.
Michelle,
and when I look at expenditures,
Quick question. So a lot of the community realizes that the county has received a substantial amount of CARES Act revenue, I think to the tune of $4 million, right? Maybe a little bit more. So when you're doing
when you offset the revenue loss, it's probably around 3.5 million because we have had revenue loss in video lottery revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. So just someone asked me, when you're going to do your budget or our budget for the county in 2021 or your proposed budget, how are you going to do that? You're not going to essentially use 2020 with CARES Act, right? Are you going to do some sort of average or?
Well, my budget is going to be based on for fiscal year 22, and the projection is actually in the packet. The budget is based on historical trend, and I pulled that outlier out. That is an outlier, the CARES Act revenue. It's not money we're going to get in the future years. So I pulled that out of my federal grants trend to make sure that for fiscal year 22, we're at our normal $300,000 or $400,000 of federal grant revenue instead of $2 million.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I just wanted the public to be aware that that's what's going on. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. For expenditures by department, this is where we're going to want to make sure that everybody's at 42% or lower. Right now, the commission's at 46%, and that always has to do with the timing of when we pay our workers' comp and our risk insurance. Those bills are paid up front. We pay that typically at the beginning of the fiscal year. So it always looks odd in the commissions department. So when I take that out, we're actually below that 40%. If I go to the next page of expenditures by department, the ambulance authority is at 51%. They are paid on a quarterly basis for their allocation, and they also have received reimbursement for CARES Act funding. And when I distribute that money to them, I include it in this line item. So I'll need to do a budget revision to increase their budget for that CARES Act expenditure. And I'm going to do that for all the departments as well. But they should be at around 50% because we distribute their funding on a quarterly basis. So they've already gotten both quarters for the beginning of the fiscal year. Parks and Recreation is at 55%, and that's because we gave them a one-time stopgap funding of $160,000. That's why their number looks a little higher than it should be. Overall, at the end of November, we had $9.7 million in expenditures compared to $10.1 million at the same time last fiscal year. So our departments have done a great job of deferring expenditures for travel, for delaying hiring of positions. They've deferred equipment purchases. And you can see that they've done their part and made sure that we have a $364,000 decrease over the prior fiscal year. Down in the next section, we have our transfers to and from other funds. The 4.4 million budgeted for fiscal year 21 and transfers to other funds, that's for our capital outlay fund. And you can see that I've transferred nothing so far. I won't transfer anything to the capital outlay fund until May to make sure that we're in a good position to get us through the rest of the winter season and the COVID season. We only transferred 600,000 last year, and the budget last year was, I think, about 1.8 million. So we didn't transfer everything last year either. Any questions about expenditures by department? The next 2 pages are expenditures by object, and I really didn't see anything unusual here other than if you look at the insurance and bonds, it confirms what I had said about the commissions line item. It's at 81%. Down towards the bottom of that page to show that we've already paid almost all of our insurance and bonds for the fiscal year 21. Court costs and damages are at $10,000. That's something that we don't normally budget for, and we aren't able to determine when we're going to get a bill. It's usually our insurance deductible that comes in for cases that maybe came in, claims that were started several years ago and they're just now coming to conclusion, and they'll send us our insurance deductible. So those are not something that we budget for every year, but every now and then we'll get an unusual budget deductible that we've got to pay. All right, I didn't see anything else unusual on this next page. I did include the expenditures by funding source this month so that we have it for the upcoming administration. And it really is the same information just displayed by our funding sources. So we have all of our statutory revenues and expenditures. Those are the things that we're required to pay to make sure that we're in compliance with the Constitution. Next, we have our ambulance fee revenues and expenditures and the departments that are paid for out of that. Hotel occupancy tax and the departments that are paid for out of that. Our permit fee revenue and expenditures. Our permit fee is generated by our engineering department. And although it looks like that department is not self-supporting, it actually is, because they collect our impact fee revenue and that money goes into a different fund. So if you add those 2 figures together, they are actually self-supporting and they pay for themselves. And then at the end of page 2 and 3, you'll see any of our non-dedicated revenues and expenditures. I won't go into too much detail about that because we'll probably go into it in more depth once we start the budget process. The last 2 pages, the second to last page would be our video lottery revenue. We've received, as of the end of November, 1.3 million in video lottery revenue compared to 1.5 million last year at the end of November. So it's a decrease of 181,000 or about almost 12%. We've already decreased our budget for fiscal year 21 by 520,000. Our original budget was 2.8 million and we decreased it down to 2.3 million. It's going to need a couple of more months to level out for the current fiscal year because we didn't have any revenue. Or the revenues were so low and the county receives the first about $1 million of revenue. It kind of threw off my trend a little bit for the current year. But I think it's going to take a few more months before I'll be able to tell if we need another budget revision for the current fiscal year. I do anticipate that the budget for fiscal year 22 will be about $2.1 million. So I've decreased it further by an additional 8.6% for next fiscal year. Table games revenue has a similar trend. We've received 137,000 so far this fiscal year compared to 258,000 in the prior fiscal year. It's a decrease of almost 50%. Going to need to wait a few more months to see if we need to do an additional budget revision. We've already done one budget revision to reduce the revenue by $85,000. Our original budget was $564,000 and it's now $479,000. I do anticipate that fiscal year 22's revenue, I included additional decreases based on the current trend of 23.8%. So next year's budget for fiscal year 22, I anticipate it's going to be about $365,000. That's a very conservative number. And hopefully we'll realize more than that, but that's what I'm predicting for fiscal year 22 so far. Any questions about the financial statements as of November the 30th?
Michelle, the jail costs, I see they're still, we budgeted a little over $1 million. We're still trending a little bit lower than that. Do you think we're going to end lower than $1 million, or?
I think it's going to end probably between $800,000 and $900,000. So I think we'll have some savings there as well.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was going to ask a question. That's the one that bit us a couple years ago, so I'm glad to see it down low.
Yeah, and it's actually lower. I think it's the lowest I've ever seen it.
Yeah. I just wondered if it was a timing issue too, just a lag in getting the billing, but no, that's pretty accurate.
No, we get those bills monthly. That is the trend. It's doing very well.
Okay.
There
The
was
state
also,
legislation really had a big impact on it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So they changed it from the state started paying for inmates, not from the date of conviction, but from the date they actually started housing them. And the legislation changed so that the Department of Corrections is responsible for the fees from the date of conviction through all the post-trial motions when the person may still be housed at the jail, but they should be in Department of Corrections custody. So there was that change, and the sheriff and the prosecutor have been very diligent in reviewing the bills, but some of that is due to the change. The state is now paying more for the inmates because it is from the date of conviction, and that legislation took effect this year.
Okay, and then the next two items that I have on the agenda are the fiscal year 21 COVID-19 emergency financial policy and the review of the fiscal year 22 budget charge for departments. And I wanted to know if this is something you wanted to table or defer until the first meeting that we have in January, since we have 2 new commissioners who are coming on. I don't have a problem doing it tonight, but I wanted to see how you felt about that, if you wanted to wait and do it January the 7th, or which is only a week away, a couple weeks away. So I'll let you guys decide what you want me to do with that.
Okay.
Would Michelle have to re-present this again twice? I mean, that's my only concern. I mean, I'm okay hearing it now. I just don't want Michelle to have to do it again.
I would need to present it a second time.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's the way I asked.
Sorry. It looks like we have both of our new commissioners on. I'm not, since they're not officially part of the commission, they may not be paying attention to it all, but they are definitely, I can see that they are here attending the meeting virtually. So I don't.
Well, it wouldn't hurt for them to hear it twice. I
Right.
can tell you that.
Yeah.
So,
Take a while for it over again.
Okay, all right, so we'll go over the fiscal year 21 COVID-19 emergency financial policy. If you recall, when the closures first started back in March, we implemented an emergency financial policy that spanned fiscal year 20 and into the current fiscal year. That financial policy that we implemented created some cost-cutting measures through through 12/31. So some of the things that we did were for part-time and underutilized staff, we reduced or eliminated any of those underutilized staff and departments. Overtime was reduced through the use of compensatory time or flex time, requiring employees to not be paid for it, to bank it and be able to take that time off at a later time. Travel and training was deferred with the exception of essential needs. For example, if a department has employees who have required certifications, such as our prosecutor's office or engineering department, those departments would be able to meet those essential needs. Travel and training was reduced to the point where they should try to find online training to reduce the need for travel, because I believe at the time there was also a travel ban throughout the state. So equipment, materials, and supplies were deferred except for essential needs in departments, so you can see have pretty much stuck to that. They've done what they need to do. They purchased what they need to do to make sure that their department has the proper materials and supplies, but equipment purchases have all been deferred. Nobody's been making any equipment purchases. That's not just in the general fund, but that's also from the capital outlay fund. Contracted professional services were also deferred with the exception of essential needs. Essential needs, the only one that I can think of right now was out of the capital outlay fund. We were under, I think we're under state law to complete the impact fee analysis by a certain time period. So that was a contract or professional service that continued.
Yeah.
Vacant positions remained unfilled for 6 months, with the exception of essential positions or where departments would be unable to maintain services. So right now, only essential positions have been permitted to be filled. We have new positions that were approved in the budget that have not been filled. And the only time that we've allowed non-essential positions to be filled were where we had a department that had 2 people leave, and we allowed them to fill one of those positions to make sure that their department was able to function. Other than that, no other vacant positions have been filled. Or they've been, they've kept them open for 6 months. And then of course, our capital outlay fund projects, all of that was placed on hold, except for those essential projects that had already been ongoing or had legal requirements to be completed, such as the impact fee analysis. They've done a great job. All departments and elected officials have really done a great job with adhering to the emergency financial policy. And at this point, we would like to get some direction for you on what you would like us to do beginning January the 1st, since this does expire 12/31. The only thing that I feel strongly about would be travel and training that I think should be continued to be deferred, but the rest of it, I feel like we can start lifting some of that, but I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, and I think in most cases now, with COVID, I think everyone is holding virtual meetings, virtual training. I don't know of any in-person training that's being held. There may be something I don't know about, obviously, but so it makes sense to continue that.
Yeah.
Okay.
From my perspective, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I think they could do the training, but not the travel. If training can be done virtually, I mean, that's my take on it. But yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, just from knowledge in the private sector, all the training has been occurred virtually. So
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And the only other recommendation I think I would still continue would be vacant positions. Maybe if we could reduce that from 6 months to 3 months. Or would you recommend that we continue to leave positions vacant for at least 6 months?
How many do we have that have not been filled? I mean, I know we just went through some today, but that's probably those replacing people that have left for some reason.
We have a couple that I know of, at least one in engineering. And plus we have all of the new positions that were approved July the 1st. None of those have been filled except for the sheriff's department.
I like to see 6 months, but I mean, I know we have 2 new commissioners coming on, so I don't know if this is going to change come 3 weeks from now. So
yeah, I still, I'm being very cautious, and I know, probably a lot of department heads don't want to hear that, but we don't know what the CARES Act funding may or may not be in the coming new year, and that's what's propped us up right now. So I think perhaps if we get some CARES Act funding, then we could revisit the vacant positions. But I'm not ready to I think they need to remain unfilled for 6 months until we know what CARES Act funding will be. We've just.
Okay, and then
that's
what about the
other commissioners feel?
Okay.
Caleb or Mr. Lorenzetti?
The only thing I was concerned about is I saw that in the proposed congressional bill that there was an argument over whether funding cost of counties or local governments.
Right.
I assume there's been some compromise, but I have no idea what it is, if there is one.
No.
And that gives me pause.
Yes.
it was stripped out, Ralph. I think it was stripped out of local funding as of right now, the last I saw.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Was.
That doesn't bode very well for us now, does it?
No.
Not so far.
Hopefully Santa Claus will
And
fix
then-
that.
What about the positions that were new and approved in the budget? There was one in the commissions department, there's one in the prosecutor's office, and then there's one for the 911 department that have not been filled because they were brand new positions. They've been vacant now for 6 months.
Well, I think that we gave the go-ahead to the E911 department to try to fill those positions. We didn't?
Not the new one.
Not the CAD administrator.
Oh, okay. Well, we do need more dispatchers. I know that. I mean, they've got to,
Yeah.
anybody comes down with COVID again, or exposed to somebody with COVID, where they just had a skeleton crew that's got to operate 24 hours, 7 days a week. So,
Well, yeah, I think you probably should wait to see what happens with the stimulus, because if we're not going to get any more funding from the stimulus, I mean, maybe later, but we don't know that. So
yes.
I think, you know, proceeding with caution and is better than approving those right now. I think it's better to wait to find out what's going to happen.
I agree with Patsy on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a quick question
Okay.
about the 911. We allowed them to overfill positions. What exactly has happened since that decision? Is he still not coming close to filling positions, or?
No, I mean, we're looking at the pool of, he had another round. I think they're getting ready to hire 4 more. Well, they were gonna hire 4 more, but one didn't pass the eval. So I think they're gonna hire 3 more. But just looking at the people going through the review process and the applicants, he's trying to overfill, but
He's having a hard time.
there's a shortage nationwide of
Yeah.
dispatchers.
I just,
So
and
it does have a round out now, and those people will come on board in January, but then, you know, it's to train them
yeah.
for call taking and dispatching.
Right. And when he brings them on, he can't bring on all 10 of them at one time. I think 4 or 5 is the max that he can go new at one time.
And I think you're going to see in his budget request coming up for this year that they're going to offer better incentives for their trainers, because, you know, we can only train so many people
Right.
at once, and I don't think we're competitive in our our incentive pay for training.
Oh, okay.
I think you're going to see some of that, some stuff like that to make learning to train and becoming a trainer, you know, more palatable to the people who can do it. But we can only train so many people at once.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess the next big one would be capital outlay fund projects. I haven't really been able to transfer any more funding in there. So I'll leave that up to you.
I think you need to stay where it is.
We're in a crazy position right now, unfortunately, and we're not the only ones. So I think you're going to hear these sentiments across the country at local governments. So
Yeah, it's just too much unknown right now.
Okay, so do you want to extend? So it sounds like we're pretty much keeping all of the deferrals in place. Would you like to keep them in place through June 30th?
Well, I don't know what the realistic time frame is when, if nothing gets passed by the end of the year. You know, is it 3 months for the new Congress to get settled in and do something? I don't know if that's reasonable or not, or to do it until we know the status of CARES Act funding, which is, you know, we don't know the time frame on that. But that's what I would need to know to make any changes to our current policy. If we're
why don't
going
we, sorry, Jane, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
I was going to propose we extend it to the end of the first quarter and then reassess it at that time.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Is
To
everybody?
331?
extend the policy to March 31st, 2021. Is that agreeable with everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
And I
Sounds
think
good to me.
Head yes, and Caleb, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so we have consensus. Yes.
Okay,
All right.
I'll notify departments.
All right.
All right. And then the last item that I have would be the fiscal year 22 budget charge. The county did realize an increase in tax revenue of approximately $537,000 in fiscal year 20 over fiscal year 19. And I am projecting for fiscal year 21 that it will increase by about 154,000. The projected increase for fiscal year 22's preliminary budget is approximately $618,000 over the prior fiscal year. Final assessment values are not available from the assessor until late January or early February. So that number normally changes a little bit. I'm usually pretty close, but it'll change a little bit once I get those final numbers from her. Preliminary numbers indicate that the real property assessed values will increase by 2.3% or 89 million in fiscal year 22 over fiscal year 21. The increase is a result of new construction, which totals 417 million, and that is offset by a decrease in the market value of existing properties of 8.5% or 328 million. During fiscal years 16 through 21, the county realized an average annual growth in the assessable base of about 3.7%, with 1.9% of that being attributable to new construction. And so for projection purposes, the percentage increase used for the assessable base growth is 2.3% for fiscal year 22. The levy rate is driven by growth in the assessable value of existing properties. New construction does not impact that calculation. However, new construction impacts the final calculation of tax revenue generated. The county reached the maximum levy rate in fiscal year 19. The majority of our residential properties are at class 2 levy rate, which is owner occupied properties. Anything that is non-owner occupied or commercial is in class 3 or 4. The max levy rate is 28.60 cents per $100 of assessed value for fiscal year 21, and I anticipate that we will remain at this max levy rate for fiscal year 22. For fiscal year 22 and future year budget projections, revenue and expenditure projections reflect increases or decreases in fiscal year 22 and future years based on the historical trend. For all accounts except for the following. For video lottery revenue, we went over that a few minutes ago. Fiscal year 22's revenue estimate is going to be 2.1 million, and it's a 4.4% decrease from fiscal year 21's projected revenue of 2.2 million. The 5-year projection includes increases in revenue for fiscal year 23 and 24, just because I think we're going to recover from the pandemic in those 2 years, and then it's going to get back down to a level amount for fiscal years 25 and future years. Same for table game revenue as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic that created business closures, reductions in business hours and capacity. Fiscal year 20's actual table game revenue decreased by 20%, or from 635,000 in fiscal year 19 to 508,000 in fiscal year 20. Fiscal year 19 was actually the first year since fiscal year 12 that this revenue did not decline, and it had actually recovered, but now it's not again. Fiscal year 21's revised budget is going to be about 479,000. I do project that, the way revenue is going right now, it's actually going to come in at 392,000 for the current fiscal year. So for fiscal year 22, I did include a decrease in that revenue. For future year projections for fiscal years 23 and 24, I believe that revenue will slowly recover, and then it'll level back out in fiscal years 25 and 26. Our medical insurance expense, based on discussions with our insurance representative and the anticipated continuance of the Affordable Care Act, we should plan on continued increases for fiscal year 22 and future years. For projection purposes, an increase of 5% annually was included. For fiscal year 22, that 5% increase amounts to about $115,000. For fiscal year 21, an analysis was done of employer versus employee premiums, and that showed that the county was paying a much higher portion of insurance premiums than that of surrounding government offices. The commission did adopt a plan to close that gap, And that plan will slowly increase the employee portion of insurance premiums from fiscal year 21 through fiscal year 29. So we'll continue with that plan of closing the gap in fiscal year 22. Employee salaries, the projection that I included does include continuation of the merit increase program, and that equates to about $195,000 annually. The projection also includes cost of living adjustments, and cost of living adjustments actually ensure that the county is maintaining competitive salaries with neighboring states and with other West Virginia counties. So I do recommend that we continue that in future years, and as we implement COLAs, we should adjust the county's grade scale to make sure that we're maintaining competitive salaries. I did include a 0.7% increase for COLAs in fiscal year 22. That amounts to about $75,000. COLAs are typically determined based on the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index, for the previous year. For fiscal year, I think it goes by calendar year, the CPI index rate for 2019 is 2.3%. So we're still much lower than the CPI index rate. Okay. Now the average percentage for fiscal year, or for calendar year 20 through October is 1.23%. So the CPI index for calendar year 20 is still a little bit lower. Some of the budget charge items that we have had in prior years that will continue in the current year. We'll continue to do a thorough review of the ambulance fee to ensure that the fee being charged covers the cost of providing services, and review the adjustment. I definitely need to do a review and adjustment of the tiers to accommodate the completion of a new plant in Ranson, West Virginia this fiscal year. New fee consideration. This is a continuance of something that was on their last fiscal year, which would be the implementation of a fire fee in accordance with West Virginia State Code 7-17, county fire boards. And that's something that we're still currently working on. I just left it on here to make sure that it's not forgotten. The employee COLA, as I mentioned earlier, a 0.7% COLA was included for $75,000. However, if higher COLA amounts wanted would be considered, a 1% COLA would be $110,000, 2% about $218,000, 3% is about $327,000. And then a continuation from the prior year project that was placed on hold as a result of COVID would be a review of the county administrative office building needs, assessment that may include debt issuance, and the determination of a funding source for future debt payments, and then anything else that you would like me to relay to the departments. I did include the 5-year projection that has the...
Michelle, yes. If you can back up under budget charge, and your first item, through review of ambulance fee to ensure the fleet, adjustment of tiers to accommodate the completion of a plant in Ranson, West Virginia. What are you referring to? What's a plant?
Rockwell should be
okay.
A plant. The manufacturer.
All right, I just was not thinking there. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Our tier stops at 360,000 square foot, and they're going to be like at 450. And I don't want to charge them $33,000, which is what we charge the track.
Right. Okay, I got you now. I just was not. Unfortunately, I was thinking of it as a plant, growing plant, literally. So you can tell where my brain is tonight. So.
Yes. Now we did just go over the financial statements. So I don't know if there's anything you wanted me to go over in detail on the 5-year projection. The 5-year projection includes a little bit more information than our review did. It has 2 years of actuals, our fiscal year 21 projection and budget, as well as fiscal years 22 through 26, which is our 5-year projection of what revenues will be. And I did highlight our grant revenues so that Commissioner Compton can see that I dropped that back down to $320,000 for fiscal year 22, which is our historical amount that we typically receive. I didn't include a $2 million revenue there. And then our table games and video lottery revenue, because we've been seeing about $1 million decrease in that as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Everything else is pretty much based on the historical trends for that particular expenditure or that particular department. And then the last page would be the budget process calendar. I think we should wait until January 7th to go over that, because we need to establish some dates on that. But I did include a a draft of it for now. So at this point, I will turn it over to you. I need to know what you want me to tell departments when they're entering their budgets, as far as should they decrease the amounts that they're asking for? Should they keep it flat? You know, what do you want me to tell the departments?
Wish I had a crystal ball. Yeah.
I mean, it's budgets next year with 2 new commissioners. I'd like their input also. They may be watching. I don't think they can participate though. So I like to err until the next meeting or to hear their prerogatives and opinions. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I can see your point. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll put it back on the agenda for January the 7th, and I will go over everything again, and I'll go over the projection in a little more detail, since we'll have the 2 new commissioners here then.
And then just to reiterate on some of our revenues, you're taking out the COVID year or decrease in revenues or whatever, so your charts are maybe a little more accurate. Correct?
Correct. I took out that outlier.
Yeah. Okay.
That anomaly.
All righty.
Thank you,
I
Ms.
think that's
Bell.
everything I have.
As
Yeah.
Thank you.
always, very informative, and appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you.
Always got it down to the right to the penny. Thank you so much. Okay. Does anyone need a break? Or we're gonna march on here?
Jane, I had a question. She had a resolution attached to her thing. Did we do anything with that?
Yeah, we did. We approved
Okay.
that.
I want to
Yeah.
make sure, because before I throw it
think
away,
we
I want to
did.
make sure we covered it.
It's
I know we
really,
approved the resolution. Yeah.
there's a resolution that goes along with the budget revision, so when you approve
Right.
the revision, you approve the resolution.
And
Okay.
none of us have to sign except for Jane. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I believe that's true. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So moving on to agenda number 8. Roger Goodwin with the county engineer. There he is, in a very dark room. Okay, that's a little better. You looked a little spooky the other way.
Okay, I have a partial bond release of $184,106 from the construction bond for Roderick Plains LLC, Aspen Green Subdivision, Phase 1A. It's Planning Commission file number 07-15. This project's located at the intersection of Country Club Road and Flying Springs Road. And the remaining work includes, but is not limited to, the following: landscaping, final stabilization, and conveyance of right-of-way and common areas to the HOA.
Okay.
And I have a motion there on the agenda request.
Right.
Well, I authorize a partial release of performance bond number 1000956-765 with United States Surety Company in the amount of $184,106 from the construction bond for Roderick Plains LLC, Aspen Green Subdivision, Phase 1A, file number 07-15.
Second. We have any questions or discussion on this? It looks like this project is finally getting it down to the end. Seems like we've released lots of bonds over the last couple of years, but that's.
So I see this is just Phase 1A. Do you know how many phases there are, Roger?
I do not.
Okay, just
But I know
curious.
that in that area, a number of years back, probably back around 2006, I think there were at least 3 subdivisions developed right in that area. Job Corps Road, Flying Springs Country Club Road. And I would guess there's probably like 300 lots or more that were processed out there. And this is part of, just a holdover from that, because the economy slowed down and now these projects are really starting to go.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks, Roger.
okay. We have the motion on the floor. We have any more questions or discussions? All those in favor of authorizing the partial release of the bond as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I just wanted to mention a couple other things if I can.
Sure.
Just wanted to give you a heads up that in January, at this point, we think we'll be coming to you with the public hearing on the impact fees recalculation study. And then in early February, we'll be coming before the county commission to present the impact fees annual report and the impact fees fiscal year 22 capital improvement plan for the impact fee entities. And then also that the text amendment that you had approved on solar facilities, and I think them unapproved, but we had drafted a solar facilities decommissioning bond policy, and we just need Alex and Nathan and I just need to sit down and walk through it one more time, page by page, and make sure it's in final form. And then we'll need to bring that before you and present it for your adoption.
Okay. I'm glad to hear you gotten, and I know it's really difficult with you having to be virtual to get that that decommissioning bond done. So
I just wanted to give you a heads up of what's coming
I
down.
think that's important.
And that's all.
Thanks, Roger. Thank you.
The impact fee study, you know, we told when we did the presentation that that the schools had passed a bond, and I don't think that was reflected in the figures because it wasn't known when it was drafted. So has that been revised? Do you know?
What figures was that again?
That the school bond had been passed, and was that reflected in the impact fee? Because I think it was news to the consultant when I told him that, and it was, you know, it just happened like a week before he presented the impact fee study.
Yes, that information was given to the consultant, and my understanding is they adjusted the figures based on that information.
Okay, so what we would find that impact fee study on your website?
We put the impact fee study on Planning, Zoning, and Engineering's website. I'm going to double check and make sure we've got the one that reflects that the bond figures are included in there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and talking about the same numbers. So, okay, I appreciate that.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments for Roger?
Thanks, Roger.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Moving right along to agenda item number 9. Mr. Allen, the floor is yours.
Great. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd like to start off with echoing everyone else's congratulations to Ms. Nolan and Mr. Lorenzetti. Thank you for your all service to our community. It's truly heartfelt here on all of the good things that you've done for our community. And thank you all so much for that.
Thank you and your staff.
I'd come before you this evening to ask for signing of our updated memorandum of agreement with FEMA for the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, what we commonly call IPALS. IPALS is our national system for alerting the public, our public, and it provides for authenticated emergency and life-saving information to the public through the use of mobile phones, using the wireless emergency alerts, to radio, to television, via the emergency alert system, and through the weather alert radios that are taken care of by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And currently, I know many of you are familiar with Nixle. We use Nixle to connect to IPAWS. It's an integrated, and it simultaneously alerts our citizens to the different or the various disasters or large-scale emergencies in our community. The document that you have before you is an update to that agreement that was previously signed back in 2013. So every so often, I guess they need to update it. Of course, you know that here in Jefferson County, we encourage our residents to sign up for Nixle. And that's our community alert system. And it provides our residents of Jefferson County important, timely, and accurate information about emergencies in our county directly to their mobile devices. Now, not only that, as you saw or you heard me talking about IPAWS, where it ties in and integrates with the television and radio stations, as well as it sends it out through weather alert radios. So IPAWS is taking it a step further, and that's what we've done in Jefferson County since 2013. So this updated memorandum of agreement, of course, is the official documentation of what we've been doing for 7 years or longer, because I think with Jefferson County, you've had Nixle even longer than that.
Yeah.
So with IPAWS coming on board, it allows us further information. You don't even have to be signed up for Nixle to get the IPAWS alerts. If you've got a cellular phone and you're driving through Jefferson County and you have it turned on so that you hear weather alerts, you get that alert. It goes off, and of course it wakes you up in the middle of the night as well, but it gives us that information and the edge on getting our public aware of what's going on and what life-saving measures they can do to take care of themselves.
Okay. Thank you very much for that explanation. Does anyone have any questions or any discussion items? I'll make the motion to approve the signing of this memorandum of agreement between the Jefferson County Commission and FEMA authorizing the continued use of IPAWS.
Second.
Second.
Okay. We have any questions or discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Steve, thanks a lot, and keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I expect you to come in and see us
Oh, I will.
after COVID. After COVID.
Yeah,
Well,
it'll be a
unless you
while.
wear a mask.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna relax for a while. I'm gonna try to relax for a while.
Yeah. And Steve, I want to thank you and your staff that Monday through Friday, you organize the conference call that updates us on everything COVID and bring a lot of folks to the table to hear the latest data and situations that may occur and all the new, if anybody needs to know where they can be tested for COVID. You know, I know you can go to the Health Department Facebook page, and that'll have it. And it probably is on your Homeland Security page too. So, because those locations change and times change. So they're moving around a lot, but hopefully they'll be able to service more citizens.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. I don't make it to every telephone call, but I always read the information posted, so I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. We are, let's see, 9. I'm on agenda item number 10. Is Miss Wheeler on the line?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Good evening, Liz. The floor is yours.
I don't know if you can see me.
Nope.
Okay, here we go.
A little bit louder if you can.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for your attention to the Farmland Protection Board. I appreciate it. I'm coming before you for your approval for a deed of easement for a 104.72 acre property in Charlestown. This is the third easement on this one property, which would be a total, bring the total of protected land to about 300 acres. And the amount of money that I have on the agenda sheet is off by about $800. It should be $411,243. It's an error on my part, but for the record, that's the correct amount, which is $411,243. And we are ready to go and close on this easement. So I'm asking for your approval of that expenditure.
Well, since I've been very familiar with the process being on the Farmland Protection Board, I will go ahead and make the motion, and then we can open it up for questions and discussion. I move that the Jefferson County Commission approve the purchase of the Jefferson County Farmland Protection Board for the Jefferson County Farmland Protection Program 1 conservation easement on the property in Jefferson County owned by T.L. McGacky's and Sons Incorporated. And the purchase price is $411,243.
Second.
All right. We have any questions or discussion?
No, I just wanted to say though, this is great. You know, I know exactly where this is. It's right out the road, actually. Yeah. And so it's very exciting. Thank you for your work on this.
No, you're welcome. Well, it is a very important property. It bounded on the east by Earl Road, on the north by Route 51, and on the west by Shirley Road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we are, needless to say, very grateful that this has come to a conclusion, and we have protected this important property, which is also 100% Civil War battlefield, the Battle of Summit Point.
Yeah.
Commissioner Tab, I just let you know I have reviewed the document.
Yes, I saw your smiling face there, and I was going to ask you that, but I knew Liz wouldn't have brought it to us before you had blessed it. So I appreciate that. It's not really entertaining reading, I can tell you that. Anyone else have any questions or discussion items on the motion on the floor?
Just say it's good work.
Liz does an excellent job following up on every tedious detail to make sure these easements work for the landowner and for the funding body and the terms of a conservation easement. The motion before us is to approve the conservation easement or in the purchase of by the Farmland Protection Board for T.L. McGacky and Sons Incorporated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. So grateful this one is done. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you very much, folks.
Okay. All right. Now I see I have Mr. Cochran on for the next time slot, but if he doesn't mind, I'm going to go down and take care of at least 12, 13, and 14. And then I think probably the last three items, 15, 16, and 17, may involve Nathan somewhat too. So I'm going to go down to new business, number 12. What can someone tell me about the request for funding? Pandemic block grant.
Sorry, I was putting my papers around. So this is the grant that we received from Governor Justice, the one that he initially termed the Hero Pay grant that wasn't really for Hero Pay.
Right.
And we've slowly been giving that that money. I created it with, well, Sandy created an application, and Sandy has been largely administering that grant, so I'd like to thank her for that. And we've given most of it away, and we kept renewing the opportunity for outside organizations to apply. But we have some of our own expenditures that would be applicable for the grant, and we do have money left. So the ESA applied for something through CARES. It was denied because they said there were other funds available from other areas other than CARES. They bought, you can see, a ventilator, a stretcher, oxygen hoses, and those are directly related to the pandemic. And I think it would be fundable because I'm sorry, let me just move back for a second. The money that Governor Justice gave us had to be CARES eligible in order to be, in order to have the money from this grant awarded. So it was rejected through CARES, not because it wasn't eligible, but because they thought there was another funding source for it. And then the other one is our own IT department.
Yeah.
Purchased our self-service for citizens to allow online payment to be easier for the ambulance fee. We'd like to switch our tax office over to that same self-service as well, but we have not been able to do that. And then we purchased additional security and VPN access for employees to enable them to telework from home.
Yeah.
And that goes together with everything that we've awarded. We have a little less than $300 left in the $100,000 grant. So those funds expire. We have to spend them by December 31st, 2020. So we decided that since the ESA had made those purchases and hadn't gotten reimbursed for them, and we've made those IT purchases and haven't gotten reimbursed for them, they're eligible for CARES. So we'd like you to approve the $22,280 to the ESA and $11,778.93. We would use that money, we'd keep it and reimburse IT for that expenditure related to telework.
Okay.
And while it is related, while it is related to telework, it also improved our internet capabilities here. So it has a dual purpose. One, in that it made telework easier and possible for a broader range of county employees, but it also improved our capabilities here. So it has a post-pandemic benefit as well.
Okay, well, I will make the motion that we approve the expenditures of $22,280 for the Jefferson County ESA for the ventilator, the O2 hose and stretcher, and $11,778.93 to the Jefferson County Commissioner for the citizen self-serve, computer security, and enable telework. And this is all coming from the CARES Act funding.
Second.
Okay. Sounds like a wise use of money. Do you have any questions or discussion on the motion? The motion is to approve the block grants for the Jefferson County ESA and the Jefferson County Commission as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's done. Alrighty.
I want to thank Sandy again for all of her work on that. She's really been spearheading getting everybody reimbursed, collecting the receipts for people who hadn't already made the purchases. So this has really been her baby and it's been a great help. So I just want to thank her for that again.
Yeah. Agenda item number 13, set the time, date, and location for the first regular meeting of 2021.
Oh, this is something that we do every year in compliance with the statute, but it has another purpose in that we've been meeting virtually and the commission had indicated that they would revisit that decision at the end of every month. So it has the purpose of setting the meeting and also the location, whether it would be virtual, whether it would be in person. I did want to let you know that Commissioner-elect Stolifer reached out to me and indicated that he preferred an in-person meeting with everyone else. So people who are presenting appearing virtually. We're not set up to do that now, but that doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means that IT would have to fashion a remedy. And I know that the ESA does that, but I don't think there's any reason they cannot do that. It may just necessitate us buying some equipment to make it possible for us to have kind of a hybrid approach for in-person and then having presenters present virtually. I know that there are other boards that can do this, so I don't think it's a barrier to doing it, but I would like to know as soon if that is the way the commission is going to go. I would like to know so that I could direct IT to start that project so that we are ready for the first meeting.
Stephanie, have we heard anything from Commissioner-elect Jackson about this at all? You're on mute, I think.
I don't know how that happened. Sorry. We haven't, she's on the line. And again, I don't want to put her on the spot because I don't know how closely she's paying attention, but I do see that she's on, she is at least, it lists her in attendance here.
I think we'd be out of order to allow them to speak at this point,
Okay.
but I didn't know if we heard or anything. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I think the first meeting with new commissioners is better suited in person. I know we're electing people, we're appointing people to boards. It may be a little bit easier. I mean, as long as we can social distance and give those individuals the option of meeting virtually that do not feel comfortable, I'm okay with that. I don't know how much money it would cost to do this hybrid approach you just mentioned, but.
Well, and I think staff needs to be considered too. I certainly don't want to force staff to be there, if they're not comfortable being there in person. I think that is the biggest priority. I mean, everyone has their individual opinions about this thing, but listen, when it hits you personally and, it puts it at a whole different level. So I don't want to force our staff to be in a position where they feel like they have to be there and risk a spread. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, yeah, they would obviously be given the option to participate
Okay.
virtually. That's what I was suggesting, Commissioner Nolan.
Okay, good. Thanks, Josh.
Well, I'm not sure of the logistics, but I don't know. Would IT have to be there to record? No, I don't think so.
I don't think they would. We just need them to be able to set up. Right now, we just have the camera that broadcasts to the web and we have this platform. And the problem with this platform and every commissioner, if you're sitting in the same room on your individual laptop or machine, you're going to get that feedback because it's going to, they're all going to be in the same room. So I just need IT, and I know the ESA does it this way as well. There are board members who report to the ESA, and then they can see everyone who's presenting. So I don't think it's undoable. I just want time for IT to be able to adjust to that request and do it. And I just want to be clear that I didn't reach out to any of the new commissioners concerning this. We typically don't, but Commissioner-elect Stolifer did reach out to me to say that that was his preference.
Well, I would love to meet in person. I do think it's better. But with the concerns I have with COVID and family members, I won't meet in person. I'll do virtual. But if the others want to explore another option, I'm open to that. But it is at times challenging to do this virtually. I understand that.
I mean, I'm comfortable meeting in person as long as we're social distancing and giving the option of others, staff and commissioners, the ability to remote in, as they already have before COVID.
I tend to agree with Josh. If someone wants to teach me how to use the computer in the library, I'll do it and get everything running. You know, if staff's not comfortable being there, you know, we'll find a way to do it. But I tend to agree with Josh.
Okay. Well, it looks like it's something that it can be explored, Stephanie, and
Yeah,
well,
we'd started to go down this path once before, and then we decided not to do that, so we kind of put that project on hold. So I'll just tell them, you know, to resurrect that project and begin how to facilitate that hybrid approach, and I think it's doable.
okay. So we haven't made a motion yet, correct? I don't think so.
I mean,
Well,
I move we hold the next January meeting on January 7th at 9:30 a.m. in person with the option of staff and commissioners to remote in via virtual.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I meant to say aye too. I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
Jane, I'm just going to abstain from it because I think that's something the three of you and the new ones will need to decide at some point.
Yeah. Okay. All righty.
No, I see a note here from Tricia Jackson that says she prefers in person.
Yeah.
She did say there's a note on the chat.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was trying to read when it was time to vote. So that was why.
I apologize. I overlooked that. I had several messages from other people. I apologize.
Okay.
See that.
Yeah, it's a little hard to concentrate and run the meeting and cover all the bases. All right. So the motion carries, correct? Yeah, that's where we were. We have voted. All right. Move on to 14, item number 14. The approval of the contract. I thought that's what we just done.
It is. So this is required. This is actually from the federal government, and Region 9 just sent this over to us.
Okay.
But it's the terms that we have to comply with. That study was funded wholly by federal grant funds, and the obligations of the consultant and the commission with regard to those funds.
All right.
Commissioner Tab, I've reviewed that. It appears to be fine, other than, as Ms. Grove said, it just is sort of an addendum to the other stuff that has already happened. But it just is the terms of that we have to comply with to meet the federal requirements.
Of which there are many. Federal requirements, yes. I'll move to approve the contract for all professional services for the broadband study grant and to authorize the president of the county commission to affix her signature to the appropriate document.
Second.
Second.
All right. The motion is before us. Do we need any more discussion? All those in favor of approving the contract for professional services for the broadband study grant, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All righty. Shall we go to the text amendments and then do Nathan last? I know Nathan might chime in on the text amendments. Is that all right with everyone?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm moving on to agenda item number 15. It is the text amendment regarding drive-through restaurants. So. This is a decision. I'm looking at the thing to do a public hearing. So, right. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
there you
ma'am.
Yes.
So on the agenda, it looks like the restaurants one is first. So I can go over that one. That's fine. So the public hearing was held at your last meeting and left open for 2 weeks. To my knowledge, we did not receive any public input on this particular text amendment. But just as an overview, the request is to change the land use designation for drive-through restaurants from a conditional use to a permitted use in the residential light industrial commercial zoning district only. This would require amending Appendix C, the list of principal permitted and conditional uses table, as well as eliminating Section 5.8C3, which is just text referencing the conditional use requirement. So this evening, I believe the purpose would be to have any questions for staff or, if you have any direction that you'd like to provide.
Well, Alex, you answered my questions when I emailed you yesterday, and I appreciate that because I really didn't have any concept of where the residential light industrial commercial zoning district was, and it's obviously, now that I know, it's scattered somewhat around the county, and that there are different setback requirements if it's beside a residential area. So that was my concern. I didn't want a house on either side and a drive-through McDonald's in the middle. So, yeah, I'm in favor of this text amendment. I don't know how anybody else feels, or somebody wants to make a motion. Or questions for Alex?
No, I don't have any questions for Alex. I think it looks okay to me, and so I'll move to approve the contract. Nope, that's the wrong thing. I won't approve that one. Let me see. Let me go back to mine. Okay. I move that we approve the text amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding drive-through restaurants. And I guess it's file ZTA 20-02. And the draft amendment proposes to change the classification for drive-through restaurants in the residential light industrial commercial zoning district from conditional use to permitted use. And so I move that we approve that amendment.
Second.
All right. Have any questions or discussion?
I voted no in the planning thing, so I want to be consistent here. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Okay, well, can you tell me why you voted no?
Well, I think the reason for the original rule was to help standalone family restaurants and say strip malls and things like that. It may come to a point that everybody is a drive-through at some day if COVID doesn't go away. But for now, I felt that I wanted to support the independent small restaurants. That's where I'm at on that.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, all right. Any more questions or comments? Okay, everyone ready to vote on the proposed text amendment, ZTA 20-02 for drive-through restaurants? Change it in the zones listed from conditional use to permitted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. All right. The next one I have, Alex, is commercial cemeteries.
Yes. So this text amendment has been before the Planning Commission since June. They forwarded it to you, I believe, in October with their recommended revisions. So presently in the zoning ordinance, we don't have any provisions to allow commercial cemeteries in the rural zoning district, not even by conditional use. There's just no text to address it. So the inquiries we've received, I've either directed people that they can seek, a location in the commercial district, or they can pursue a text amendment in accordance with the zoning ordinance. And so we had an individual who was particularly interested in green burials, which is a natural decomposing burial process. So there's no chemicals or embalming, there's no cement. So that's the type of cemetery that they are interested in pursuing. But, after having discussions with the Planning Commission, we decided to go the route, or they decided rather to go the route of having general text to allow for commercial cemeteries broadly by conditional use, not just green burials. From my research, green burials are certainly trending. So it's a natural decomposition process. So this text before you would be consistent to allow commercial cemeteries in the commercial districts as a permitted use, because they're already permitted use. We did incorporate one site development standard that the burial plots be 100 feet from any property line adjoining a residential property. And that's just to provide an additional buffer beyond what typical commercial uses are required. And then for the conditional use process, the conditional use permit, as you're aware, would require a public hearing before the Board of Zoning Appeals. There is minimum site development standards, including a minimum lot size of 10 acres, some setbacks and buffer requirements, and then provisions to allow the site to utilize the rural site plan exemption. So I can go more in depth if you would like. I was just going to give an overview, but any questions you have for me, I'd be happy to address.
I'm a little confused. What's the rural site plan exception?
So the rural site plan standards allow you to use, the biggest exemption is to allow a site to utilize gravel parking and drive aisles in lieu of asphalt.
Okay.
And that's to maintain the rural character of the area so it doesn't become overly commercialized. So it's just some reduced development standards in that regard. But a site plan would still be required, which does require stormwater management.
Right.
For any kind of impervious area that's created. So usually your parking areas, your drive aisles, even if they're gravel, would have to account for stormwater management. And kind of pavilions or maintenance buildings. The developer we're speaking with presently doesn't have any intent to put in any buildings really. So they'll have a small parking area and some walking paths, but it'll be minimal site disturbance.
All right. Well, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that, it wasn't too loosely, the requirements were too lax, that we're not, especially if they plan a natural. And I understand that from, this probably gross people out, but we compost, so I know what that process involves. So we're going to need stormwater, and I hope these folks know how to do this properly, because there will be subsidence.
So stormwater, I don't know if stormwater management comes into play for the burial specifically. Right. If there's there's no impervious area being created, especially it's actually becoming fairly common to not use tombstones. Right. They're using small markers. So, so there'll be different calculations that they'll be utilizing to determine whether or not stormwater management is required.
But what I'm saying, in theory, someone is buried in the ground, there eventually will be subsidence at that gravesite. So there'll be some maintenance issues for the cemetery. So, but I don't think we can resolve all that right now.
Alex, I have a quick thing, Commissioner Tabs. Alex, this is Commissioner Compton. So I guess, obviously, we've all received emails of doing burials and contaminating groundwater. I mean, I'm not asking you, Alex, if you're a groundwater expert here. I assume these things have been taken into account with the developer as far as stormwater site plans and so forth. I mean, they're not just going to throw, for better or worse, corpses into the ground and letting them go as wherever. I mean, this is all taken into account.
Yes, and I believe the same studies that were submitted to you were also submitted to the Planning Commission. And just so you're aware, I did reach out to the Health Department and the DEP to ask about what their permitting processes were, and they actually don't have any regulations for cemeteries. So yeah, so
Wow.
So the 100-foot buffer from property lines was a way to address some of those concerns from keeping it from other residential properties. And then I think that there are some common practices within the cemetery industry that they utilize. I know that there's I believe the person who initiated this text amendment represented that there was an organization, I think, that you pay due to's, and that helps ensure maintenance of the cemetery should, the business go under at any point. So there's some type of entity that oversees this industry.
Okay, great. And I think of Edge Hill Cemetery in Charlestown and how close some of those houses are to the border there. So, I mean, I don't think they're closer than 100 feet, some of these homes. So I think of that, and maybe this is even the new ones are going to not be that. So there are more stringent guidelines compared to Edge Hill currently versus what we will allow.
Yeah, but there will be a difference between a traditional casket burial and a green burial. So that, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And this, this doesn't preclude traditional casket burials. This will be broad, so that'll be addressed in the conditional use permit application as to what type of cemetery they'll be operating.
Well, and maybe DEP can look at this issue and issue some guidelines. I mean, I think that would make me feel more comfortable, but I'm not going to vote against this because I realize it's a very new concept, at least to our area. And in many ways, if it's done properly, it can be environmentally friendly, but if it's not done properly and not maintained, it's a problem.
And who's gonna determine that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my problem with it. I mean, who determines that? And yeah, okay. That's all I'm saying about it right now.
I know. Oh. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
If I can find the thing, I will. Yeah, here, I got it. I move. I don't have it. Sorry, guys, I'm on the wrong. I can't find the title, the file.
Okay, the file number, I'm going to help you, Josh. ZTA 20-01.
Okay, so I move we approve the text amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding commercial cemeteries, file number ZTA 20-01, as presented, and find it to be in what's the word I'm looking for?
Conformance?
Yes.
Compatible with the comprehensive plan?
Yes, exactly, with a comprehensive plan. Sorry, guys, it's getting past 9 o'clock. I may be younger, but I'm not that much younger.
I'll second the motion. I'm still kind of on the fence on this. I think, if I didn't know it was going to be the person that has been interested in this is pursuing a green cemetery, and it's not their fault that we don't have the safeguards in place as far as the environment. And I know there's problems with traditional cemeteries too. So, yeah.
Jane, I voted against this in the Planning Commission, and I want to be consistent with my vote. And the reason was I thought it was putting more stress on the rural zone district. I didn't have really objection for the other districts, but just to explain why I'm making my vote.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have problems with this too until, I just think I think we need more, there needs to be more research into the environmental aspect of it. And so at this point, I can't support it, but, that's just me.
I mean, I got the same concerns as everybody else here. I mean, it's not a very fun topic to discuss either. So.
Okay, well, we have the motion on the floor and a second. And the motion is to approve the proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding commercial cemeteries, file number ZTA-20-01, and that it is compatible with the comprehensive plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
The motion fails, 2-3 vote. And Commissioner Compton and Hudson voted in the affirmative. And I'm just doing that so our staff has the information they need to write the minutes. Okay.
And Jane, the next one I recused myself on. I explained it the last time. My wife works for WVU, and this is near their property, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm
Okay.
going to not participate in this one.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Alex, the floor is yours.
I actually think Jenny, let me just see something here. Is she on? Jenny had done the presentation for this rezoning. I was going to defer to her. Let me see what she's saying here. Hold on.
Stephanie, is Jenny Brockman on the line somewhere?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to look for her. She's not in our staff list. Yes, she is. Hold on, I have to unmute her. And
I'm here if you need me, but I'll mute myself.
Okay. I'm gonna make that fair.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I made you a present. Okay, Jenny, you should be able to unmute yourself now and share your screen, which it looks like you are.
Am I there? Can you hear me?
Yes, and we can also see your screen as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't need to show you anything.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think, because.
That's okay. Right. Well, I'm seeing it.
Oh.
It's
You
all
see
right.
my screen, but not me? That's weird.
We don't see your camera, Jenny.
It's because I made you the
There you are. There you are. Okay, great.
I think Chad Whalen might be on as well. He's the consultant for the applicant. But to the best of my knowledge, you all did not receive any additional comments. And you held the public hearing. You've held it open for 2 weeks. It's a rezoning request for the property owned by the Van Erers across from McDonald's in Shepherdstown. And the proposal is to change the zoning of 5.4 acres of this larger property that's actually in multiple tracts from residential growth to residential light industrial commercial. And the proposal is to use the existing 3-way traffic light by the McDonald's and the Walgreens and make it a full intersection. And that'll be the access to this property. And then the balance of the property behind the rezoning request is to remain residential growth, and that goes all the way to Potomac Farms Drive, alternate 480 or alternate 45. And that's their intent is for that to be developed as residential. The comprehensive plan calls for this whole area to be a mixture of commercial and residential. And because we don't have a zoning category that's specific to that, we thought this was a reasonable consistency that they were taking a portion of the property and making it commercial and keeping the remainder of the property residential. That was the Planning Commission's recommendation to you.
Okay.
But I do think the applicant has the consultant is on here and may be able to answer questions as well.
Right. We will ask him questions if we have questions for him.
Okay.
And I just want to relay, because I had gotten an email comment. They were concerned about that the two homes would be taken down, Tenant House and the Welshans Russell House. But they are category 3 on the historic landmarks database. And one's a 2 and one's a 3.
2 and 1, 3, yeah.
Yeah, neither one is on the National Register for Historic Places, and I don't believe the Historic Landmarks has commented one way or the other about these homes. So,
and our zoning ordinance does not have any regulations related to anything other than a category 1.
Right.
So there's no special exceptions or anything needed related to these buildings.
Right. Okay. Anyone else have questions for Ms. Brockman? I'm going to make a motion. I move that
my picture went away.
I don't know how to make it short. I move that we approve the zoning map amendment, which is a rezoning for the property designated as tax district Shepherdstown 09, tax map 8, parcels 10.2, 13, 14, and 15.2, which is located at 7948 Martinsburg Pike, Shepherdstown.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
And just to clarify, this is just the 5.4 acres that we're considering at this point. That's the way it reads. Thank you.
5.4 acres from residential growth to residential light industrial commercial, and that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I will amend my motion to make it clear that it is compatible with the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, and I will also add that there have been changes in that area. There's been, new commercial properties, and this is just an extension of those. So I certainly think it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan.
Do we have any other comments or questions?
This is Commissioner Compton. I know we all received an email with someone, they were concerned about the traffic at the intersection as a result of this. I think the developer has taken steps to alleviate that, and therefore I will vote to approve this. But that was one of the concerns that came up most among the houses turned down. I think they've taken steps to fix that, and the other Sheet Station is in a terrible location. So I think this fixes that problem on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there will be a concept plan public workshop before the Planning Commission, and then a site plan that the staff reviews. And they've already done a traffic impact study that the WVDOH is reviewing right now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all. Yeah. That's all good information.
Yeah.
All right. The motion on the floor is to approve the zoning map amendment for property that's 5.4 acres located approximately 7948 Martinsburg Pike, Shepherdstown. And then the 23.48 acres will remain residential or become possibly residential, and it's all compatible with the comprehensive plan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There you go. 5-0, unanimous.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Jane,
Yeah.
that would have been 4-0 because I was abstaining.
You're right. Sorry, I forgot that. So for the record, the vote was 4-0. Commissioner Lorenzetti abstained. Okay. Now, are we to Mr. Nathan? Mr.
I
Cox,
think we are.
All right. I'm going to defer most of my issues. And the ones that I am going to bring up tonight are going to be the third bullet point down, and I can do all of this in open session.
oh, good.
The third bullet point down, discussion of Jefferson County Circuit Court Civil Action 19P69. This is a matter where David Tabb had filed a challenge to a meeting that we had. If you will recall, Mr. Tabb had at a point in time been placed under a sanctions order by the circuit court that was subsequently upheld by the Supreme Court that said that he could not file a lawsuit unless he either got it first approved by the judge or alternatively that he hired an attorney. In this particular case, he hired an attorney, but that attorney basically, and Mr. Tabb, I don't know what happened, but the attorney quit. And so that left Mr. Tabb without an attorney. And we had a status hearing in that case before Judge Hammer telephonically. And the judge was concerned because he did not want to be in violation of the order that said that Mr. Tabb had to have an attorney or be approved by the court. Additionally, there had been an administrative order entered by Judge Wilkes that basically directed, if I recall correctly, and I am pretty sure that this was the exact directive, I believe Judge Wilkes directed the clerk to not accept any filings from Mr. Tabb individually unless they were in compliance with this order. That's a generalization. It may not be exactly correct. But nonetheless, Judge Hammer did not want to be in violation of that, nor the sanctions order. So he had inquired about Mr. Tabb obtaining counsel, and Mr. Tabb at this point had been unable to obtain additional counsel, and Judge Hammer gave him 90 days to do so. So that will take us forward into the first part of next year. I just wanted to update you on the status of that. The second issue is the issue related to the annexation case, and that would be the fourth point down, discussion of West Virginia Supreme Court number 19-412, that one. As you may recall, I traveled to the West Virginia Supreme Court along, and counsel for Charlestown also went there. We argued part of our case. As you may recall also, and I won't go over all this again because I went over it before, but in the interim time between the appeal that Charlestown filed and today, the law changed. And unfortunately, the law, despite Senator Rucker's best efforts, was not, there was another portion of the law that did not get changed, that needed to be changed when Senator Rucker filed her statutory amendment. And so, although Senator Recker intended to do a thing that she believed was good, because of the, I would just say, the failure of some of the lawyers in the government in Charleston to understand the entire picture, despite Ms. Grove and myself trying to clarify that with them. There's an inconsistency with the law as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. So the Supreme Court sent this case back to Judge Hammer to have him basically obtain briefings and arguments from us to determine how to approach this case. So the city's or Judge Hammer sent out an order directing us to brief this case before him. Charlestown's opening brief is due next week. Then I will be replying, and I believe Charlestown probably will actually file a rebuttal brief, but nonetheless, then it will be heard by Judge Hammer and he will make a decision. So that's where we are. I'm just letting you know that the brief from Charlestown will be coming out next week, and then my brief will be due thereafter. Really, at this moment, I think that's all that that I have. I would point out that we have still been working with an attorney regarding part of the issues related to the emergency ambulance authority and the fire authority to determine a couple of legal issues about that. And the commission had authorized us to hire an attorney who deals with some of these very complex and significant issues related to some of the payments and employment issues connected with those things. We intend to bring some information to the commission soon. I believe that the commission's, determination was slowed a bit by the election, and I think that this current commission felt that perhaps a new commissioner should weigh in on some of these issues. So I guess that will happen early next year, and but you know, we are still working through a lot of those questions that we had. I believe that's all that I have right now.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Cochran. And I will say you're looking perky, so I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Still have a little like asthmatic condition related to that, but doing a lot better.
Good. Glad to hear it, Nathan. Good. And I just want to say that I am disappointed that we didn't get to do the ambulance and fire before my term was ended. I know we've been working on this for years, and it seems like it's never ending. So I hope that the future commission will be able to come to some kind of a resolution and to make the system work better, because it currently isn't working. And you know, whatever is determined, you know, it's important to understand and realize that the county's going to continue to grow, so the service is going to have to continue to grow. And finding the funding to be able to take care of that, you know, there are probably a couple things you could do now, but it's going to be never ending. It's not going to solve the problem in the future. And so that's one of my biggest disappointments. is that we didn't get this done. I know we started it back in, I think 2013. I think it was 2013. And, you know, and it hasn't been right. And, you know, nobody's been satisfied. You know, there's always been an issue, and, you know, there's never enough. There's, no matter how much you give, there's never enough. And so something's going to have to be done. And I really wish this commission the best in the future as it relates to this. And, you know, it's just a big disappointment to me that we didn't get anything done to finalize, you know, a better system in place for both fire and ambulance. That's my biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. That's one of my two biggest disappointments. So.
Okay.
I just have a quick thing, Madam President, if I may. Nathan, I personally and the commissioners here understand why your agenda looks so long. I had someone in the community ask me how many legal cases the county commission was involved in. It gives the persona that we're really involved in legal matters and spending tons of their money on those. I don't know if we can trim this down going forward, or just the persona it gives to the community if they're not as engaged as maybe we'd like. That's my only opinion here.
Sure. And, you know, I would just say the reason that I have that long list is because there are some things that are on there that are ongoing. And how legal cases work is something happens.
Yeah.
And then, especially when you're dealing with some federal government issues, something happens and you may not hear from the federal agency for a year. And then suddenly they're contacting you saying, we need a decision on X right away. And the problem with the county commission and how it works, and it's not really a problem, it's just how it's set up. Because you have to give notice and that sort of thing, I leave some of those things on there because that way we can talk about it if I get one of those phone calls after the deadline to publish notice on the agenda. And so, and the reason for that is, you know, there have been times in the past that folks have been dissatisfied with the amount of notice that was given on certain issues. And so you know, I've left many of those issues on there, even though they're technically alive, but nothing is happening. And only when something happens do I bring it to your attention. For example, the case involving the annexation, or Mr. Tab tonight, something happened and I told you about it. Anyway, I mean, I can try to I could probably trim it way down on the agreement that the commission would be willing to call a special meeting if I need to ask you a question. So I don't know.
I fully understand why you're doing it. I think everybody else here does. I just wanted that to come from your own lips so the public understands as to why you're doing that. But that's fine. I got the question. I wanted you to elaborate if that individual is watching.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
It's just related to the notice and putting it on the agenda, and that way, you know, we can talk about it, because if it's not on the agenda, we can't talk about it, and that's why it's on there.
Well, I've had the same question and I've explained it as best I could. Probably Nathan did a much better job. So.
You know, lawyers, we like to clear up stuff, you know.
Yeah. And you like to talk too. That's okay, because that's your job. Thank you, Nathan. I think that's all we'll need. But hang on a minute. Stephanie, I believe you said that Mr. Rockwell or Mr. Aitchison had wanted to make public comment, but you never got anything from them, or?
I emailed him the email address that I have. There are only 2 people left with us in our attendee list. That's the public who registers to attend the meeting. So I did not hear anything back from them.
Okay. All right.
The
Well,
way that the information that I had for them, and I told him to let me know, and I would facilitate his making public comment. If you'll recall, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Mr. Rockwell. I can't remember if it was Mr. Rockwell or Mr. Aitchison. One of them applied, I think, for the Planning Commission. And
They both did.
They both did. And I had to hold the phone up to my computer to have them interview because they couldn't call in. And I was willing to do that, but I never got in touch with them.
okay. All right.
I never responded back to my inquiry to him.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure we came back to that, and that there wasn't somebody hanging out there that we kind of forgot about.
I kept refreshing my email.
Yeah.
We only have 2 people left with us.
Okay. Well,
And
I can.
We have other people on the staff side, but on the public side, we only have 2.
One final item, county commissioner reports at the end of the year. Anyone have any comments they want to add? Or
I was just going to say, I attended the last planning commission meeting, and of course I go off. Mr. Stolliper is on the planning commission, but he's coming county commissioner, so that's one of the things you'll have to look at. Yeah. Otherwise, I've had except for the election, I've had a good year.
Okay.
Well, and I had a JCDA board meeting on Tuesday afternoon, and that was my last. I had a CVB meeting yesterday afternoon, and the board voted for me to stay on that committee as in emeritus status. And so I was really happy about that because it is a fun committee. So I don't know which commissioner will be on that committee next year, but they've had their problems because of COVID and because of the lack of travel, and the hotel motel is really down, but they persevered, and we have a new visitor center that's very near completion, and so it's very exciting, and I look forward to our visitors being able to utilize that as they enter the county as soon as they're able to travel. So that's exciting too. And I'm going to stay on the Council on Aging. That's not a county commission appointed position, but I've been on that committee for quite a while. I'm on it for another year, and there are term limits on that. So I'll be on that for another year. But all in all, that's it for me. Thanks, folks. It's been real. It's been fun, and sometimes it's been real fun.
Okay. Commissioner Compton or Hudson, additional comments?
Just quick thing. We had a quick meeting last night for Parks and Rec. Obviously, they're concerned about the impact fee recalculation. There's some numbers in there they maybe not agree with that they're looking at with the consultant, I guess. And Solid Waste Authority, I guess a dump truck sideswiped the new trailer there and did a decent little chunk of damage. And I know they called the police and a police report. I don't know if they actually figured out who that person was yet. So that's not very good considering we just replaced that trailer not too long ago. But other than that, it's been pretty uneventful on my side. And I'll miss you, Patsy.
Thanks, Josh. I'm going to miss you too. I'm going to miss all you guys, but I'm going to miss Josh because I love sparring with Josh. I mean, he's fun to spar with, but we do it on a serious note, but the thing is there aren't any hard personal feelings. And that's important for people to remember too. This is something that you have to just do your best with and make the decisions that you feel are right. And but thank you.
Exactly. That's how politics should be. We disagree on the issues, but we still like each other as individuals.
Right.
Commissioner Hudson, any end of the year comments?
I just enjoyed spending time with y'all through the computer.
Well, I we've been doing a lot of work at Farmland Protection Board and updating policies and so forth, as well as trying to settle easements. So that's been good work, and it's made us think really hard about these, these easements in perpetuity and how you can cover all the bases and make it work for both the landowner and for the easement. And for for the enforcement, we monitor. Well, I don't. Staff and some board members make it. I sometimes make it, and sometimes I don't. We visit every property that has an easement every year, and that's like over almost 40 now. So that's a lot to do. And we kind of wait until the leaves have dropped, so you can have a clearer picture of what you're looking at when you're trying to do, large tracts of land. So that's been very satisfying work for me. And I am been pleased to work with both Commissioner Lorenzetti and Nolan, and we'll miss them and look forward to working with our new commissioners. I'm sure we have much to learn from one another. And yes, I never imagined that we would have virtual meetings. And I've learned a lot on trying how to chair a meeting, and I'm sure the new commissioner president will have challenges as we move forward with the COVID situation. So everyone have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year.
Commissioner Tab?
Yes.
I'd received a comment from Commissioner-elect Jackson, and she said that she just wanted to thank Ralph for his service, and that she knows she has large shoes to fill, but she's up for the challenge, and she wishes you the best in your retirement, Ralph.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Good night, folks.
Take care, guys.